Paul, which side of Atlanta are you on?
Here we go, guys. All right. So normally I'm more formal with the intro, but I already did the intro. Apparently, the button didn't click. And I should have known because I couldn't tell the user counts. So the entire show that I just did, y'all did not get to hear it. So as much as possible, I'm going to try to recap what I said. She said, I can't find you on YouTube. That's because I hit the button and you have to hit two buttons and I only hit the first one. So I apologize if you're on Instagram trying to find me. Come on back to YouTube. Now you'll be able to see the live stream popped up for episode 34. So Kenny, you were the very first. I said I was shocked because usually you're running a little behind. So not only are you on time, you are the first to comment. You even beat Willie, so that's pretty commendable. Excellent. Shout out to Kaylee. You guys know the drill. Drop your city and state like Kenny did. And Kenny is at my favorite restaurant. He's at Benihana's. He's tapping in tonight from Bethesda, Maryland. I got the space heater going on, but I started getting too warm. Shout out to Kaylee. Kaylee said, wait, where's Willie? He is on his way. He just sent me a message. And then I just welcomed Paul and Chris to the show. Hey, guys. We were really chatting, having a whole conversation, and it was not live. So take two.
I'm in Atlanta, too. I'm on the east side, near Conyers, Decatur.
Okay, nice.
I'm a little further east.
Okay.
Covington?
Huh?
Covington?
A little west than that. I'm not like too far east from you. I'm more Stone Mountain, Lithonia area.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you're in my backyard then.
We got a first timer. Kava is here for the first time. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. First time tuning in from Texas. I'm going to assume a girl, but don't be mad if it's not a girl. Camry, that's my girl. She goes way back to my Facebook days. Shout out to you, Camry. Nice to see you. I'll let you tell where you're watching from, although I already know. Falake, good to see you. She said, hello, everyone. Okay, y'all. So I'm going to read off the 5 topics, even though I did it all a second ago. We're going to read it back. So number 1, what is something that your dad did for your mom that you plan to do also when you become a husband? If you remember last week, we talked about what does your wife do? What does your mom do that you want your wife to do? Number 2, what is something you saw your father do growing up that you don't want to emulate in your family? Number 3, you guys have made it very clear that you don't fall in love because of a woman's financial status or her career achievements. So what does sweep you off of your feet? Number 4, I polled the men and asked, have you ever cheated? And hopefully they answered honestly, but we got a lot of answers. Number 5, men in relationships, are you trying to get away when you sit on the toilet for long periods of time? Now, when I posted this, I have them back to back, men who are single, men who are in relationships, but somehow I separated them. So I don't want you to think I'm obsessed with this toilet question. I promise this is the last you'll see it. Okay. And then we have a submitted question about the friend zone. Welcome to the stage, Willie and friend. And Camry is watching from Texas. Hey, Janice, is this the week we're going to get you on YouTube? We got to see. Kenneth Robinson is here from Lithonia. Very nice. Okay, hopefully I didn't miss anybody. All right, guys. So just to let you know, I have a group on, I have a Facebook group. I have an Instagram page for men only. It is private, only for the fellas. And I ask them questions Monday through Friday. And then I spill all the tea with redacted names, of course, on my Patreon page, which is a platform where you could pay monthly. And then I share some of the answers here a week later on YouTube. I could not keep all my platforms straight. And so we're going to share here. So each week I give you 5 things. If there's a submitted question, I answer that here. Otherwise, I grab one from online that I think is interesting. And then it's freestyle. After the 2 hours of the show, if anyone wants to extend the show, they can do so at $1 per minute. And my lovely cast members here love to hold me hostage. So we will see how long we go tonight, but I'm rested and ready to go. All right, fam. How are you guys doing? We had some crazy weather. People who never get snow got snow. Everyone's going crazy.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've had snow here in Atlanta. But now the first go around, Yonci, was pretty decent. You know, the roads were fine and everything. People were playing out in the snow. If you were on TikTok, you know, you might have seen a couple of people on the For You page, you know, sledding and having snowball fights. my neighbors made snowmen, all that good stuff, But this last time around, this is where it got a little bit more crazy, where the roads started getting iced over. And I told people all a lot of people more if they get on me talking about, oh, y'all Southern people, y'all do this, y'all be closing school and everything. It's like, look here, I tell you all the time, snow is not our problem. It's ice.
Yep.
Because the roads freeze here pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen videos of cars like sliding.
Or people just getting out of their cars and walking home. Like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, it was crazy. But even though we don't get snow here very often, it's nice to see it. I was just looking outside my house window. It was snowing yesterday. I was like, oh my gosh, this is cool.
Oh, it looks like you're in a snow globe, huh? I always say, because I live somewhere where there was snow at a point in my childhood, and I'm like, it's cute when you don't live in it. It's cute when it's like, oh, this is fun, take pictures, and then get on with your life. But when it drags on for months, it's like, okay, I'm over it. Oh goodness. Anyway, so this week we had quite a week as far as social media. So we had TikTok that was down, it was
12 hours.
Right. Ended. And then I'll never forget Monte's like, TikTok's back up. I'm like, what? My kid was thrilled. I remember we were at IHOP and someone was saying something about TikTok and I'm like, it's back up, and everyone's hollering. It was really funny. But it was interesting because I was curious. I'm like, I wonder if Facebook, Meta stock is gonna Meta. I always say Meta. My son made fun of me the other day. So I had gotten stock back in 2020. So I was like, I wonder if it's going to get affected. And oh my goodness, it is going up. It is going up. I think it was like 612 or 612 a share on Sunday. What was the day it came back? Sunday? Saturday? No, Sunday. And then now it's gone up to like 630. So I don't know if people invest, but it's doing some record breaking stuff right now. But who knows what's going to happen now that TikTok's back. I should put a disclaimer. I do not give investment advice, so please do not. Please do not think. All right, so we're going to get into the very first topic. Let me put it up on the screen. What is something that your dad did for your mom that you plan to do also when you, become a husband? That is going to really bug me. So let me just fix that. Okay. Last week we were talking about what are things that your mom did that you would want your wife to do. And that made for an interesting discussion. All right. So let's get into it. Anyone want to share first, or do you want me to read the comments first?
I'll jump in if that's okay. So my father, he was married twice. The first marriage, was like the early years of my childhood because I was but a young pup when my birth mother left. So I don't remember too much from that outside of like the way I see it, I caught the tail end of it. And there were some things that were going on. So I'm going to answer this based on my father's second marriage, because one thing that outside of him working hard, doing all the fatherly things, being there, invested in all three of us and everything, the one thing that stood out to me the most was there were times where she would get like sick and she would have like different surgeries and be on a whole bunch of medicines and everything like that. But despite all of that, he stayed and he took care of her. That's what really made me admire my father. The fact that he take care of her. Like he'll be there, feed her, cook for her, clean after her if need be. I really admire that.
That's
about
beautiful.
him. So
yeah.
So
when the going got tough, he did not get going.
Not at all.
Nice.
He stayed through all that. And so I forever appreciate my father for that.
That's nice. I love that. If anyone is watching on Instagram, this is your formal invitation to come on over to YouTube. That is where the show is happening. This is just behind the scenes. It's not fun. So come on over to YouTube. Just type in Chasing Yonci and you will see the live stream come up. We're on episode 34. Anyone else have anything that they saw their father do with their mother that you want to emulate?
Were you gonna say something, Willie?
No, go ahead. I'll go last.
Okay. So my mom was married twice. So I don't really have a recollection of my stepdad, of my bio dad.
Mhm.
But my stepfather, um, I will say that he argued with my mom, and I don't want to emulate that. But what I will say is that he learned how once because they were, I guess they were in their like 40s when they first got married. But once they got through that little rough patch, trying to, I guess, adjust to each other, living with each other, I learned that he learned how to calm my mom down.
Mm.
And I don't want to be with a firecracker, but that is a trait a characteristic, something or a habit that I think that you need to learn how to um, handle, if you will, the emotions of the woman that you're with,
Mhm.
because depending on what day of the month is, what hour it is, the season, the time, whatever it is, perimenopause might even be hitting. She may cry, she may laugh, a bunch of things may happen. You just have to know how to, I won't say manage for lack of a better word, I'll say manage her emotions and do so in a way that is healthy so that, she's not just, going off all the time. So
Yeah.
that's something I'd emulate.
I always say structure masculine is like a frame or support so that she can be free to, do what she needs to do, but within the safety of that space, so to speak. So that's nice. I like that. Mr. Beeman, and welcome. Shout out to you, Mr. Ray Alexander. Thank you for tapping in. Let us know where you are watching from. Mr. Garnett is watching from New Orleans. Hopefully he can come on.
They got snow in New Orleans too.
Yeah, it's wild. Oh, I've been going nuts. My brother was telling me that the Lou got some snow, and I was like, no way, I can't even picture that. And then Instagram showed me 2 videos back to back. I was like, is he listening to me? So Ray is said it might be helpful to provide demographic information about the men that you survey. I actually did do a survey on their age and their location, and that is posted on Patreon. And thank you for the updates, Paul. I just saw the updates in the back room chat. All right. So Willie, it's your turn if you would like to share.
Oh yeah, I have a good dad, so I have the dad the kids wanted. So
Aw.
or should actually they need looking at men today. But if anything, I'll just be a provider because he did that. That's I don't think that my stepmother ever paid a bill or knew what the bills were. And I would always see him giving her money so she could go do whatever. Um, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing that I took from that as a kid is just being a provider. A man is a provider, and if he can't provide 100%, then he probably should. He probably got into that relationship too early. And
Yeah. Okay. I'll say I'm not a guy, but the thing I saw him do to my mom is he was always a gentleman, like pulling out chairs, opening doors, doing the heavy lifting. It was very clear. She got to live for the most part the soft life. So that was nice to see. And I want my daughter to continue seeing that, so she picks that as well. Let's see what the guys had to say. Not a ton of answers on this one. All
you
right.
know why?
Now, if I ask them to say what they don't like about women, it'd be like 14 pages long.
No, because a lot of those niggas don't have daddies.
I knew you were going to say that.
That's why.
Terrible.
They can't talk about it because they didn't see it growing up. They had a bunch of uncles.
And speaking of, one of the first ones that stood out to me is the answer was stay. Stay. That's what they did. Filled up her gas tank on Sunday. She never, ever had to go to a gas station. You know what's crazy is I never knew that was a thing until I started hearing people talk about that. But that's really cute. I never thought about a guy like taking the car, getting gas, and bringing the car back. That's really cute. Invested in her. My dad put my stepmom through nursing school and then design school. Showed affection in the kitchen. That's so sweet. Led family devotions. Fixed the plumbing. Provided car repair, support, and the lawn. Dropped her off at the front door of the church, restaurant, store, etc. While I went and parked the car. I guess what the dad would do. Well, I tried to have kids. What? I don't even know what that means. Okay. Labor, be diligent, calm, patient, understanding, things I wish I'd seen, all while in a two-parent home. All right. So if you want to read the rest, there are a couple more. You can head to patreon.com/Yonci and see all the tea. I hate you. Okay. All right. So we are going to move on to the second question. This is one. What is something you saw your father do growing up that you don't want to emulate in your family? I will not put you guys on the spot because you are not anonymous. So I will just read these answers.
Oh, I'll be on the spot. I don't mind.
Okay, I don't want to put you on the spot. Okay, go ahead.
No, you good. I know who my dad was, and I remember a lot of things. So he was an abusive alcoholic. He used to cuss and fight my mom. And so, if you know, of all the women I've ever dated or been with or married to, I've only been married once. I've never unprovoked. Because I won't say I've never, but I've never been provoked by a woman to put my hands on her. And even when I have been provoked, I do my best to restrain myself. But that is something that my dad did that I do my extreme best. I practice just being calm.
Yeah.
I made it a habit. Like, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, how loud or whatever she gets, you know, I'm like, you know, and I mean, I like I said, my mom was a firecracker. So I'm sure there was a lot of fireworks. She got married at 20. So, you know, you've been young and dumb and now you're married and you got a couple kids. You know, that's something that my father did that I'll never repeat again.
Yeah.
That I'll never repeat. You know, I won't put my hands on a woman. I drink, but I'm not abusive. I don't have to have a beer every time or an alcoholic beverage. He and he didn't do it to my mom per se, but he did it to me and my brothers. When he would get mad over the simplest things. So when it comes to my children, as a father, one thing that I'll never do is also I'll never take my anger out on my kids, and I saw my father do that too.
That is so important. A lot of people have trouble managing their own emotions so that children can get the brunt of it. And so I think that's amazing when someone is able to do that. I know sometimes I'll be in just a mood where I'm stressed out or frustrated or something. And so I will proactively tell my daughter, hey, by the way, I'm kind of stressed out. So if you pick up on anything, because, you know, girls are very intuitive that way. I'm like, I don't want you to think it's you at all. And she'll do the same with me. Oh, I'm going through it, you know. And so it's nice when the kids know it's, you know, they're not going to get the brunt of anything. So I flashed the little reminder, but if you have not done so already, please take a moment to hit that like button. That is the only way YouTube knows that you like the show. It doesn't, you know, monitor who's watching. It's who likes it, who hits the like button. And so, Paul, when you get a chance, if you could let me know the update on where we are right now. Last time we checked, it was at 9, which is less than half. Totally unacceptable. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit it as well so I can add to it. But it's really helpful because it lets Instagram or YouTube know to forward it out to more people. All right. So let's see here. And so let's see here. Boom. Where's the like button? Oh, yeah. You got to close the chat. If you want to see it, close the chat. I just brought it to 11. Close the chat box, hit the like button, and then you can open the chat back by tapping on the message as though you're going to leave a message. And so hopefully we can get these numbers up. All right, let's move on to the next one. Oh, we got our first super chat. Thank you, Blockchain Beeman, for the $5 super chat. He said, like, comment, and subscribe, doggone it. All right. William says, I was number 10. Nice. Okay. We have one comment. My dad loved me and my brothers. He gave me everything. I grew up wanting to be the same man, but better in different ways. Love that. Okay. Let's move on to question number 3. Okay. Struggle bus. Okay. You guys have made it very clear you don't fall in love because of a woman's financial status or her career achievements. So what does sweep you off of your feet?
Cheesecake.
I cannot. Very clear. Y'all made it very clear.
I'll be honest with you.
Nothing.
For me, it's all about the energy, and I guess I'll be a little vulnerable here. Like in recent years, like I would go into relationships expecting it to end, like for whatever reason. Like she's gonna
Mm,
come to me and be like, "Oh, it ain't working," or she may say, "Oh, I'll go on the date with you," and then cancel last second, last minute, or whatever. And I'm just like, "Ah, here we go again." You know, it's back and forth, back and forth. But it'll sweep me off my feet when things actually follow through, and not just follow through, but the energy behind it. I'll give you an example. I went on a date a couple of weeks ago, like an actual date. Like I met this young woman. It was organic. You know, we had communication, and I asked her out. You know, just straight up, and she said yes. And we planned. I planned everything. Yes, I paid. Right, but even before we went on this date, we had great conversation. Like we video chatted, we voice memoed. You know, the energy was there, and I was like, "Yes, I like this. Like this is good." You know, as long as we keep doing this, you know, that energy kind of put those thoughts of, "Oh, this ain't gonna work." You know, this ain't that. Those those thoughts immediately went out of my head.
yeah.
And the date itself, and then we came to the big day, and I was like, "Yo, this is good." Like the date was great. She showed up early,
Mm,
which was a plus. She showed up early. We vibed. The date itself was great. We sat down, we ate, and we had a conversation. And you know, even though we discovered that we're on different trajectories, we had a similar mindset.
yeah.
You know? But even after that date, I said, you know what? Even though this didn't work out, I appreciated that interaction.
Yeah.
Appreciated that experience. Because even when I look at her now, we're still friends. We're gonna be friendly. I don't look at her and see the stuff that she's going through. I look at her and I see the person. I look at her and see, oh, that's my friend. Say, hey, and she's in a content creation and networking. And she does all kinds of events. I said, she'll suggest to me, hey, you should go here, and I'll tell her, hey, do this. Go do this. So the back and forth, that networking kind of energy. Like if a woman can keep that up with me,
Yeah.
I'll be on the magic carpet ride with you. Sometimes sweep me off my feet.
Okay, I feel
I
you.
don't I don't know who blockchain. I'm guessing blockchain plain chain beaming is Willie. I agree 1,000%. Men should not be swept off their feet. Um, like that. And I'll say this, Yonci, you ask questions like a woman,
I
right?
do.
Respectfully,
I'm
right? You
guilty.
don't, right? So you don't ask questions that a man would ask a man. And so when I answer some of your questions, I have to like, yeah, I'm not answering that. And some of the options that you give, it's like yes, no, or maybe because I'm like, this is such a woman answer, and I love it because you're a woman. But ma'am, when the last time you've known a woman, man, say, "Oh, she came in and swept me off my feet"?
Swept me
Never,
off my
never.
feet.
So what?
At least a man that was
So
talking
I'll rephrase.
Real quick before you do,
That wouldn't sweep me off my feet, but it
No, no,
would.
I'm not saying. No, you're fine. I'm just saying if that works for you, that works. What makes me more more into her, which is I think is a better question. What draws my attention is a better question. More, I'm you're not sweeping me because I have to stand firm. Like what I look like being on my ass. I mean, on my behind. You know what I mean? Because like so.
I got to do real quick. Got to show some love because William just dropped $10. Thank you so much, William. I got to ask, is it a love offering or a show extension? We got to be clear. But either way, $10 from William. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You can do Cash App or Zelle if you want to extend the show. Otherwise, you can show love with a super chat. And thank you, Paul. He said we're up to 17 likes. Awesome.
You ask a man. That's a great question.
Thank you for the super chat, Willie. $5. The reinforcements are here. What were you saying, Chris?
So I was just saying, what does it look like for me, to be swept off my feet? Now I'm laying on my back and I'm not able to defend you.
That's like a
You
man
know,
saying,
I said I'm on my back and I can't defend. I just,
I'm just let's make it make sense.
like, that's like a
So,
man saying, "Oh man, she made me swoon." Like what the what?
right. So
okay, it's girl talk.
I've never said that.
so when you ask your questions, what I would suggest, if I may, run it by a guy, run it by your guy, so that you can get men to
Man
answer
code.
the way that men can give you data that you're looking for, because you're asking a question that a woman would answer. Girl, what made him sweep? What made sweep you off your feet? Yeah, that's girlfriend talk. We ain't that. We not your girlfriends. You want men answers. So the question that you probably, if I could rephrase it
You
to
may. I'll allow it.
give you the question that you would like us to answer, what makes us more drawn to a woman, right?
Okay.
How she talks to us consistently. Because the manner in which you talk to me specifically matters. The timing in which you say the things that you want to say, the tone in which you say the things that you want to say, and then you giving the consistency. Because in the dating space, what I found, women don't typically give the consistency that they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
What I found is when a woman can be consistent with the things that she wants me to be consistent with her own personality and characteristics and habits, when she can be, that draws me to her more. Of course, femininity, of course, all the things, but being consistent, which I'm telling you, a lot of women in the dating space are not. That I want a man consistent. You lying because you can't be it. So
I'm gonna have to listen. I'm gonna say the unspoken part out loud because he covered most of the pleasure stuff. When you start talking about, I'm saying that ass, like the way that they take care of us physically is really important as well.
facts. That's part. So like that's specific, right? I'm just in a general sense. I'm saying be consistent. But what he just said,
Yeah,
100%.
I'm saying you got to be consistent with that ass too. Like,
That's a fact.
a woman
That's
is
a
like,
fact.
I don't think most men will understand what it's like to have a woman who is like genuinely sexually attracted to them.
Yes,
Like most men are sexually tolerated by their partners.
that's fact.
There's very few married, long time married men who have wives who are like generally like attracted to them. Like when they come home, when they hear his car in the driveway, their heartbeat drops from their chest to their drawers. Like it's not. I don't. It's unfortunate, but you know, I wish that's one of the things for me. That's really important because I'm not trying to always be the one to instigate or initiate being mannish or nasty. And like what I'm saying. So because if you're always the one doing it for a woman, like a man should know she's not interested in you like that. If you're always the one initiating contact or affection, if you're giving more affection than you're getting, that's not cute. That's like you, and odds are, she's just tolerating you. And I see a lot of men that have to deal with that. So, yeah, you got to be as consistent with all the femininity, the way you talk to us, the respecting us, but you also got to be consistent with that mouth because we appreciate it. And nothing, they say a BJ a day keeps the divorce.
I cannot. I want to say thank you, Kaylee, for bringing some estrogen to the show. It's much needed.
It's been a while.
Balances energy out. Absolutely. Very cool background. Greenish blue. That's a vibe.
I'm in my massage room,
Oh, that's very cool. Coolest background award.
For the massage some shit.
Oh, my. Welcome, Brad. Good to have you back. Nice to see you. Yes, and we're having good sound tonight, so that's awesome.
Yeah, got my laptop today, so.
Oh, nice. I felt like a hater, so I had to keep muting you that time.
You ain't got to guess where he from.
And it's not the hat.
No, that's definitely the accent.
We love it. We love a New Orleans accent.
What the fuck?
Okay. It's so funny when you turn around like that, Willie, because it really looks like you're looking at old boy.
No, my dog just fell off the couch. He was sleeping. He fell off the couch. My bad.
All right, guys. We are, feel free, Paula, let me know if we've gone up anymore. We're going to move on to number 4. This is the have you ever cheated question, which I said, hopefully the guys are being honest. We will see. All right, so let's see what the stats have to say. Oh, wait, I didn't ask them for comments on there. Okay, so we're just going to do. What percent would you say of men have cheated? We'll get some consensus before we go. What percent do you think?
Well, are you saying of all men or the men that actually can get women? It's going to be a different number.
Wow, I don't even know how to answer that one.
English, just whichever one you want me to answer first.
The ones who can get them.
Oh, almost all of them. 80% of those men. But if you're talking about the men you ask in this poll, I'd probably say about 14%. No more than 30 because they're lying.
Isn't that embarrassing though to say that a man is only as loyal as his options? Like,
no, that's not embarrassing. That's like a
cheating.
She has her options.
But if you have to cheat, that means that you have to move secretively. No, like to me, that's not a badge of honor to move secretly.
Well,
that's not necessarily true.
You're measuring it based on the man's fidelity. A man's, his respect level, his prowess isn't measured in fidelity. It's measured his able to acquire resources and vagina. And men that can cheat or have unlimited access to women tend to not even look at it as anything other than as exercising their options to the unlimited resources of vagina that they have.
Sorry, I have to ban somebody. Okay. Thank you, Dark Clouds. I saw something and it was like, I read it halfway and then my brain said that something doesn't sound right because I wasn't fully reading it. Now that I'm really reading it, I'm like, oh, heck no. So he's out of there. I was cracking up because Willie was talking when you said that. She said, please block this weirdo. And I didn't catch the little arrows. And I'm like, but that's Willie. He's always on the show. I realized he was talking about the guy being racist. Okay. Yeah, that was intense. Okay. If you ask the women, they think their man cheated, but honest men will tell you differently. Interesting. Okay. So let's look at these stats. Let me put this one up instead.
Told you.
Okay. So it's kind of weird with percentages because I said it's basically yes or no, but the yes is broken up into a multitude. So 50% of the people polled said no, they have not cheated. Then of the people who did cheat, I asked them if it was emotional, physical, and then if it was more than once. So the way, because you can only do 4 options, so kind of skews the data a little bit because then the physical cheating could have also been the yes more than once, so I realized after the fact.
This is another way you gave the question like a woman because cheating is cheating. We knew what you were talking about. The answer is yes or no.
But I did want to know if they considered emotional cheating because I think that you can give someone lots of attention. You can even go so far as to say, man, it's too bad I'm in a relationship because da-da-da-da-da. If the person feels like if your woman wasn't there, they would have a shot. To me, that's cheating. Nobody should feel like they have a piece of your heart. And even if
here's the thing in reference to what you're just saying, if a person feels like they have a shot if your woman's not there, a lot of men, to Willie's point, that can get women, women feel that they have a chance regardless if the woman is present or not. So some women feel like, oh, I can still get him because they think they're it. They, their body might be banging, they might make X, they might have a house, whatever their attributes are or their attachments are. They feel, because women are feelers, they think in their mind, oh, I can get him. It doesn't matter what a man does or doesn't sometimes.
Yeah, but not because of what he's saying.
Right. A lot of sometimes it doesn't even matter what we say.
Right.
What matters is what she thinks and what she feels, and a lot of that is because you'll find what you posted the other day. A lot of the men that you desire don't want you, and that goes to what Willie is saying. Just because you want him, you don't have the tools to keep him or acquire him, which is why women are always saying things like, "Where are all the men?" Well, you can't find them. They're right there in your face. You can't find them because you don't know what to do to draw him to you, or in your words, Sweep him off his feet.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there, sir. I deserve that. Sorry, I'm making a quick note. Anybody else have a thought? I think that, cheating is, it's not a badge of like, oh, this shows how awesome I am or how capable I am. Because I feel like you have to be sneaky and conniving. I think if you have multiple women who want to give you the time of day and they don't care that you already have someone, that's different. Or they're willing to share you, that's different to me. That's more of a pop your collar type of a situation. But to just be sneaky and make two people think that they're the only one, I don't give any props for that.
Baby boy said it the best. A lot of these. I mean, a lot of you because I love you. I'm out here telling these hoes the truth. A lot of guys feel like that makes sense. It doesn't make sense to me necessarily, but I understand where you're coming from. And those when the guys that can cheat, when they do, a lot of the time it's because they don't know no better. It's kind of like when a guy starts getting money for the first time, he wants to go buy a car. So he goes and buys a Benz or something because he just thinks it's what he's supposed to do. Because he can now. All of a sudden, he's new to having that type of access or, to women. But after a while, it just becomes the thing where you're either going to stick with one or all of them know, like, hey, listen, when I'm with you, I'm with you. When I'm not, I'm not. But, if at the end of the day, having one is too close to having none. So that's the type of time they're on.
Okay. Anyone else thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in real quick. Sorry about that delay. I clicked the wrong button trying to click onto
Oh,
something
no problem.
so that was accidental. But I will say this: I've never cheated, never ever. I don't plan on it. And this is one of the other things. If we're gonna go back to the what did you see your father do that you want to emulate? My father was married twice. And even though those two women left him while he was married, I've never seen him, bring other women around, like not at all. Anytime I seen a female with him, it's like, oh, that was his coworker, and even then, the women would always go to my mom and they would talk to her, and they would be friendly. But I've never seen my father get flirtatious or anything or that because he was a man of principle. You know, what I'm saying we're family men. We're all about our family. So every man that my father is connected with, they're married men. His frat brothers, all of them are married men. So gleaning from that example, I'll say, you know what, I want to be like that. Saying I want to be married and be faithful, even in relationships.
Yeah.
Even though I've been cheated on before, of course, I'll deal with that. I'll cast her away, but I'm not gonna reciprocate that energy. I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, she hurt me, and I'm gonna do the same thing.
Right. Let me get my look back.
I'm not gonna do that. That's not how I operate.
I like the whole hanging out with married people. I think that's a really cool thing when people do that, or the majority of the people they hang out with are in that same space. Because I don't know, it's just you're in two different modes when you're not single, and then your friends are single. So kudos to your dad for that.
Men don't cheat on women worth being faithful to.
I wouldn't say that's always. Some guys just do it just because.
Let me defend my point real quick. And this is the thing that I think a lot of women and women-minded men miss when people say that. The women tend to think they're worth not cheating on just because they feel like they're not. When I say that a man won't cheat on a woman worth not cheating on, it's if she's worth it to him. Because inherently, men are lazy. If we have a woman who is doing everything that we want, we're not going outside to get anything else because we got it at the house. Like, we're not going to go out. We don't want to have hoes. Like, because when a man has a bunch of women, he's literally just taking the best parts of women to make his ideal woman, like Voltron. It's like, you know what I'm saying, or Captain Planet, the 5 powers combined. You're captain this planet now. It's not, and what a woman thinks she's worth to a man means shit to him. It's because she's not the one controlling if he makes a decision to cheat or not. If he feels like she's worth not cheating on, he's not going to. Because especially if she's got a boundary that says, hey, if you cheat on me or you deal with other women, you can't have access to me. Because most men say when they get in relationships with women, and I'm unfortunately I'm only talking about like the men that matter, the ones that women don't acknowledge or ignore, couldn't care less about those guys. But when the men that matter get into relationships, what we're really saying is this: like, hey, I really like the ability to be able to have sex with all these women I want to whenever I want to, but I'm willing to forego that opportunity and that ability if I can have unlimited sex with you when I want to. That's what we're saying when we get into relationships with one woman and one woman only. So we're not going to give that up because we've already said that, hey, we agreed to be with just you. And part of being with just you means I get unlimited access to those cheeks. And I'm not going to mess that up by, these cheeks are 100% of what I'm looking for. They grip, they do all the tricks, and then you cook and clean on the side too. So you do everything that I want a woman to do. Why would I go get another one?
So you're saying that you don't think that there are trifling men who mess up and then deeply regret it, and you think that they ahead of time said, "My woman is worth cheating on, so let me go cheat." You think every single guy who cheats
they said is that there's something out there that my woman isn't, and I'm gonna go get it, which is new vagina. And unfortunately, once a man if he's not past that I like new vagina phase, he's never going to be faithful.
Okay, so that's, to me, that kind of goes against what you're saying, because
he's not
wanting new coochie is not
right. So that's something. So that's what I'm saying. The other women are something that his woman is not new. So unfortunately for y'all, you just got to find a dude that's past that. I love new vagina phase.
So the way that, but when you say there's something your woman is not, it almost sounds like she's lacking something, or it's something that she should improve upon, but she can't. No, what I'm saying is that's not something that she's doing wrong. That's like a woman saying, "I'm tired of dealing with the same dude every week, so that's why she go cheat."
You don't have to. It's not with women. This is a great point. You don't always have to do something wrong for a man to not want to be with you. You could do everything that you think is right, or that he's told you is right. But one of the things that men won't do is we don't tell you all the things that we want from y'all a lot of times. For example, one of the most uncomfortable conversations I've had to have with one of my partners is like, listen, you have to be a 304 for me. That's something that is required. I think Brad will understand it, and I'm pretty sure Chris did, because Chris has been around for a while. But there's certain things you just have to be for me, because when a woman is like that with a man, we know that she's never done that for someone else. And like hearing like I've never done this before, or like I usually don't do this, and it being real and not like you just saying that because you don't want to seem like you're a promiscuous woman because my homeboys recommended you to me, but like you really mean you usually don't do this. Like that's really important to me. So those conversations can be very, very uncomfortable to have. And in the past, I have not had them. But what I do instead of breaking up is I say, hey, I want to go do this. How do you feel about it? And then we have the conversation. But the conversation always ends up with me breaking up with them, because I'm not willing to forego what I want to go out here and do because you can't do it for me, or you're not doing it for me, or you can't be there for me.
So let me add some context to what he's saying, Yonci, to kind of help you in woman's language, right? Because he's saying everything that's true, right? The value that a woman brings, that she believes she brings to the relationship, is not the value that men believe or need from a woman. So that's why you hear women saying things like, now, I have my own house, I have my own this, I have my own everything. I don't want a man. I don't need a man. I want a man. So when women say things like that, men don't want you because you don't know how to need us, right? So now your value that you think you have literally declines in our eyes, and we may have you for the moment, but we won't have you long term because you fit, like he said, you're the yellow Voltron or the blue Voltron, and we are trying to piece together this perfect woman. So that's why you cheat, per se. So what has to happen is the things that we said earlier. You have to provide the things that he needs. But here's another part of the conversation. One thing that he said is true, and I actually posted about it on Facebook, I think either earlier today or yesterday. Men lie and women don't want to hear the truth. So men lie because we don't want to tell y'all the 100% truth because y'all can't stand rejection. Y'all don't know how to, process being told no. And y'all don't want to hear the truth because y'all been told your whole lives, oh, it's okay, baby. You can do better. You're the best at this. So it's difficult for some to tell you all, hey, you know what? You're not doing well at this. You need to be better. I need these things. And if you can't do these things, I'm going to go and find them. So that's the thing that's missing. So you have value and truth that's missing. And when those things are combined and they're in the same pot, if you will, then you won't have to have a man that cheats because a man will desire you because you're doing the things that he needs, but based on the things that he has already told you he wants, and you're giving them, delivering them to you, and your value is good with him, then he won't cheat.
However, your buddy here said that if yours is not new anymore, which if you're in a relationship,
but he also said find a man that's past that phase.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear to women that if a man wants to cheat and he's in that phase where he wants just constant new, there's nothing you can do. You can.
That's not true. There are things that you can do.
A man who wants new vagina to stop getting new vagina, especially when he can go get on any vagina he wants. If that man is still new to like being able to have access to women to we'll say the Pam of any woman that he wants, he's not going to stop going out there and getting it until he's tired of it, or he finds that one magical uniform mouth vagina other thing combo that makes him say, you know what, I'll buy this one.
Because I think it's a choice. It's a choice to be faithful. So if somebody gives an excuse saying, "Oh, well, this and this and this," it's more ethical to leave if you're unhappy than to cheat. So I don't ever want a woman to feel like there's justification in cheating, or vice versa. Even if a person cheats on you and a woman does it and she cheats back, it's still not ethical, even if he cheated first.
Biology and ethics don't go together. And a lot of times we try to put those things in the same sentence. It'll never work.
But biology, I think, is an excuse because we're not animals.
No, we're not using it as an excuse either. But it is a cause and it is an understanding or an explanation, not an excuse. We're not excusing any behavior, but what we are is explaining why it happens. The same way women are hypergamous when a man has unlimited access to vagina. For example, look at it like like you have a puppy and you left unlimited food out. That dog is going to eat himself till he's full, and then eventually he's going to stop. You know why? Because he's okay. I know how much I have to eat, and I don't want to eat this much anymore. Men are going to be the same way when it comes to vagina. Women
but you just compared a man to an animal. I
compared a man's appetite to an animal's appetite. A man's sexual appetite to an animal's appetite. What I'm comparing.
Yeah, and that's fair to say that they have big appetites. But the difference is that a dog doesn't have cognitive reasoning. A dog doesn't have a conscience. So I really push back when men compare themselves to their animal nature, because we could say as women, we want to be provided for. So that could be a justification for getting with every single man that we think can give us something. Like, we can always make excuses for an animal nature, but I think that is, I don't want to be in that class. I don't want to be in the same class as a dog or a horse or a monkey. Like, I have brain and ethics.
Women have the same imperatives. You could make that comparison, but they don't. That's not, men and women aren't the same, so you can't make the same comparisons for us. A man going out here and a man with a high appetite, because he can go out here and get the world pregnant. One man can get 1 million women pregnant.
I'm talking about somebody saying, because I feel an inclination to do so, I'm going to do it.
Well, I mean, you should. I think that I have no issue with women being hypergamous.
Like, no, I'm not talking about hypergamy. I'm talking about
that's the opposite of what we're talking about for men.
I'm not talking about the specifics of a sexual appetite or hypergamy. I'm talking about an excuse being given, what I call an excuse, to say that we are like animals. I don't think that we are. I think that we have similar urges, but it goes beyond the urge because we have cognitive thinking. If I do this, follow my urge, I can break up my family. If I do this and I have this urge, I can catch a venereal disease. If I do this and I have an urge, I could get someone pregnant. Like, we have the ability to think past.
Yeah, because the difference is we're aware of consequences. And at the same time, everything is a choice. And if you don't make the consequence of losing you worse than whatever his other options are, then the option of losing you is not going to be nearly as bad as him going out and getting new vagina, especially for the guys that can, because unfortunately we're outnumbered.
My thing is this: I'm never going to entertain the animal comparison. I'm just never going to compare it because they don't have
Not aware of consequences.
a conscience, though. Every person has built in them the ability to know the difference between right and wrong. And the reason why I say that is because they know that if they do something, people are going to respond a certain way.
Well, we're taught the difference between right and wrong, though.
But a kid also know. You look at a 2-year-old and he sneaks something, he purposely hides, even if
Because
he
he been taught that it's something he was doing something wrong. Like he's already told him no, you can't have it, and he goes to get it anyway, so he knows then. But if you let that kid have it, if you never tell a kid no, he'll never know the difference between right and wrong. That's why parents have to tell the kids yes or no.
I'll just agree to disagree. I do think that we have innate levels of things that we know is wrong and not wrong. I don't think that a kid doesn't know to not hit another child. I think they don't have to be told that. I think they know it's wrong.
So I have to agree a little bit with Willie on here too, and here's why. We are influenced by the things that we are learned in the environment we learn them in, right? So I tell my kids all the time, I said the only reason why you have discipline and you know this, that, and the third is because you have me as a parent to tell you what's right and wrong, and that comes from the things that I learned. But if I set you in a jungle, you were born and you were in an environment where there were no other influences, you would not have the thought processes to know what to do and what not to do, what's good and what's bad. You don't have that. You have that now because I've influenced it and I've told you based on my own morals and my upbringing. That's why when kids get access to social media, they now challenge their parents because they have other outside influences. So I have to agree that, on some level, he's actually correct because the right and wrong is being influenced.
And it's okay if we disagree. That's all right. Oh, William, it sounds like you're saying something, but you sound muted. You're not muted.
I wasn't saying anything.
No, William.
I just responded to this comment telling the truth of the leadership quality. I'm like, in relationships, maybe, but that's not a leadership quality.
I want to address that too.
Yeah, every leadership.
There it is.
You don't tell. Like in the military, I don't tell my subordinates the truth. I tell them what they need to do, and I make them understand what the plan is. The truth about why we're doing it, they may not have the need to know. So that's.
I think that, Willie, to your point, you're dealing with a structure and a controlled environment, though. And to when you're talking about, your troops and everything, that's in a controlled environment, isn't it?
What environment is not controlled that a man is in?
Well, I was going to actually speak to the gentleman's point when he was talking about you leave a person in the jungle, whatever the case may be. And I think that to your point, you make great point. However, the other side of it is that it is true. We do have what most animals don't have, which is core conscience. We have the ability to reason. We have the ability to understand and adapt at a different level compared to other animals. Now, in an inhumane environment, we are going to be subject to inhumanity. In a social, more pleasant environment, we're more prone to adapt naturally to a more peaceful environment. We aren't likely the only biological species that deems ourselves predators, yet we're really reluctant and apprehensive to engage in war. Why? Because our core conscience really wants life to happen. So to your point, I believe that you're right as far as like animalistic and humane nature. Yeah, you have to be told what's right, what's wrong, and to understand it. But it's kind of hard to say, okay, this child, if they decide to go ahead and rock another child, is to say, hey, this child is wrong when that's the apparent behavior that they see.
For example, I wasn't taught that hitting people was wrong. I was taught that you don't hit people that make you think they're going to hit you.
Right. You see what I'm saying?
I'm not the kind you have to hit me first before I hit you as a kid, but I was taught that. But then the same way that people have to be taught things as like their core values, like what's important, like telling the truth was a big one for my father. Or
We got a super chat.
being, I don't want no super chat. You gotta come on the panel. But telling the truth, or like or being confident. Those are things that I was taught. But if no one told me those things were important, I probably would have just been whatever I chose to be. Because if the outside influences are where you learn. Because if you leave a child to his own devices, or just say a human, regardless of gender, or she's going now. Anyway, regardless of their sex, they're going to do whatever comes natural to them biologically. For example, if you leave a child, so we can't say no one wants to do a study where we take babies and leave them in the jungle and let them figure it out for themselves, but we can use monkeys. Right. If you put monkeys in an environment and it's one monkey in there by himself, one thing that monkey's going to do without being told to is he is never going to sleep where he shits. He's going to find somewhere that he's going to use the bathroom, and he's going to use that bathroom there because they don't like to sleep or pee. Same thing with dogs. Dogs don't want to sleep or pee shit or pee where the same place they sleep. So if your dog has gone to the bathroom in his cage, that's your fault as an owner, right? Those are things that dogs just know to do. The same thing with the people. We're not born just knowing anything, because from the moment we're born, we're being taught. From the moment we come out the womb, we're being taught. We're being told, hey, crying is bad. So shh, don't cry, don't cry. We're being comforted from the jump. So there's never a point where a human's going to be able to say, well, I don't know if I was taught right, if I would have thought this was right or wrong without being taught. Like I think it's one of the few things that's impossible to say right now. Unless you got like Jungle Book shit going on.
No, and to your point, I think that how you explain that, I believe allowed for a little bit more reasoning, because it was just like we just run around with the pink things hanging out. I think that was the perception that was given, as opposed to, being able to explain it in a more, rational way.
If you don't tell a little boy that he's not supposed to pull his pee out, he will pull it out every chance he gets.
Absolutely. Every single time.
Every time.
So I'm drawing more from a biblical perspective. And so, that's what we're taught in the word, that we have that spirit of God in us. So that's what I'm drawing on. But it is okay if we don't all agree. We're going to...
the Bible doesn't actually tell you not to cheat.
Hey, we're not doing this. We're not doing this.
I was going to say, don't make me go get the scriptures.
We're not doing this. Whether we agree or disagree, we're not doing this.
It doesn't specifically say don't cheat, but that's, and I'm a Christian and I'm a licensed minister, so
can we not talk about shame?
That's all I was going to say.
Just in case.
Just look up the word adultery, but okay. And
just in case everything in that book actually happened, and what happens if you don't listen to it is real, I am going to stay far, far away from that conversation.
That is a wise number 5.
Look, we don't have to do this. Like, look, right.
All right, we're going to move on to question number 5. Men in relationships. This is the part 2. When you are in the restroom for a long time, when you're in a relationship, are you trying to get away? Is it because we asked? And last week we asked, if you're single and you do that, do you still go in there for a really long time? So let's see what the guys.
Are these serious questions?
Oh, these are very serious questions, because
nuts question.
Nuts. That's funny. People were saying about men being in the restroom because they want to get away. They want to get away. So what would you say? It's 48 to 52 split. Do you think 48 of the men? 48% said, yes, I want to be left alone. Or do you think I said 48. 42% said, yes, I want to be left alone. Or no, I just like being on my phone in there. The question is, I
don't think the majority of these men aren't in great relationships. So I'm going to say they're the one who want to get away from their partners.
Okay.
I don't even know how to answer this. I'm taking the shit.
No, long periods of time. Like, if you're healthy, going number 2 should not take more than
nobody's saying. I'm not saying that, but like, you might get like lost on something. You ever like be scrolling? You're just like, oh snap,
doom scroll.
No, so that means
you get stuck.
You would vote no, that you're not staying in there strategically. You're staying in there because you got caught up.
But maybe you were annoying me to the point where I had to get away for a moment. So that's kind of weird. That's a little bit of
dang.
Wait. Do you see how she responded when she felt rejected by being annoying?
You saw that, right? And
Right, I told you women can't handle rejection. That's why when you ask these questions, you don't want to hear the truth.
Or what if it's, oh dang, you're in such a bad relationship that your only recourse is to go in the bathroom and risk hemorrhoids by sitting on the toilet for a very long time.
So you want me to cheat?
Or instead of being annoying, and when I tell you you're being annoying, stop being annoying, stop feeling rejected and sad, and then just go do something with your girlfriend and leave me the heck alone for a moment. Then I won't have to stay in the bathroom so long.
Fellas,
I don't stay in the bathroom long.
If your girlfriends are so annoying, they got you running to the bathroom. So
that's a problem.
That's what I'm saying. I don't stay in the bathroom.
Like, I don't either. I'm just saying.
Clear.
I mean,
a girl goes to the bathroom for more than 2 minutes. I think she's in there doing
58%
every time.
Y'all, Willie, say that again. Wait, please, y'all. Willie, say that again. This is alarming.
If a girl goes to the bathroom like for more than 2 minutes, you in there doing. Like, don't come to my house and be in the bathroom for like 10, 15 minutes, and I don't hear no shower going. You in there taking a shit.
It could be her time of the month, and she needs to thoroughly clean. Come on.
She's not coming over.
Y'all,
first of all,
yeah, y'all vaginas ain't that big.
No, you said more than 2.
You said more than 2.
And then, another thing too.
That's what I responded to. More than 2.
If that's one thing I've never done. If you're not my woman, you can't come over here bleeding. Like, I don't want no type of vampire bait at my house. You got to stay where you at.
You are such a Neanderthal.
I'm dead ass serious though.
Why? Unless we're in a relationship, why do you need to come over?
I don't even have a trash can in my bathroom for that reason. Like,
oh my god,
I've never been the bathroom trash can guy. Like, as a child, I didn't have one. My dad didn't think it worked. That's one thing he fought my stepmother tooth and nail about. Like, trash cans don't go in the bathroom. I get it. My mom had one in her bathroom, but I get it because once a month she turned into vampire food. As an adult, if that's your time of the month, like, say I get married, right? That one time, that's like, if you want to go somewhere and do some stuff with your girlfriends, go that week. Like
wow.
Why is it a Neanderthal?
Because that's saying that if he does not have access to her hoo-ha, she has no value to him.
But we already talked about that. See,
I mean it like when I'm
hold on.
I mean, let me say not no value.
Let me go ahead and mute.
It's the other emotional shit I don't want to deal with. Like the irrationality that comes with you bleeding. Like I'm saying, the emotional with you coming with you bleeding, you bringing up shit from 9 years ago because for whatever reason, when you're bleeding, your memory is the only time it works. Like, that's the type of shit I just don't want to deal with. Like, I understand, like, that your mouth still works. Yeah, that's cool, too. But, like, just go know your girlfriends first before I go in the bathroom and stay there for an hour because I'm doing.
What? Yeah, I'm sorry, Kaylee. You were making a point. What were you going to say? I'll wait after you.
Well, I was just saying that that's not exactly true because Willie finds it very valuable in her mouth. So that's not exactly true for Willie.
That's like, but my woman can bleed over here. So that's different. Like, she can come over here and she can be a murder scene. Like, she can be leaving drops of blood from the driveway to the house.
I cannot.
But, like, just saying, like, back when I was just entertaining, like, well, I'm saying random, but, like, when I was auditioning, you couldn't come over here unless you were, like, all systems go. I don't want to be the guy that you want to come hang out with while you're leaking. That's crazy. Like, I'm not an EMT. I'm not a surgeon. I don't want to put a tourniquet on your cervix or whatever, your uterus when you bleed from it. Like, go to somebody else's house for that.
Do you hear the words coming out of your mouth, sir?
Yes.
No, but like seriously, answer this question in reference to what he's saying. Why would a woman want to be around a guy that she's entertaining in that particular state? Like,
comfort.
Because there's more than having sex.
No, it's not. Not when you come over here.
It ain't even about that. It ain't even about that. Why would you put yourself in that uncomfortable position to have to change?
Unless you come
what
over
if you run out? You didn't get enough. It's you bleed on the bed.
Okay,
you bleed through your
God.
And she just got her period that day. Most women have had their period for their entire adult lives since they were 12, whatever. They know.
So you mean to tell me you ain't never ran out?
We have to go to work. We have to go to school. We have to take care of children. We have to get through the night.
I don't
Like
think
we
y'all
have
should do any of that shit. I think y'all should be able to stay home the whole time you're bleeding. Like, I'm not trying to be funny, right? Like, this may get me in trouble with the labor board, but every woman that has worked for me, once I caught wind of like it was that time for her, she could go home. She can go work remote. She could go. Oh, she saved you with a whopping $2. Thank you. Like since you're trying to save Yonci, I was like, literally
Not a
go
super
home.
chat. Thank you, Marquita, because I am.
I don't feel like y'all should have to work while you're bleeding. Like that's crazy. Like I've been bleeding from like a wound before, and I didn't want to work. I didn't want to be a dad. I didn't want to have to go like be an adult because I had stitches and shit. Y'all bleed once a month. I feel like you should get a week off from like life or my company. I feel like it's only fair.
Yeah, wow. Sometimes I will say this. Thank you, Kenny. I will say this. Sometimes it is shocking to my system hearing the way that men speak about women, and it is in a way that seems like her only value is in her sexual abilities. And to me, it is sad because women have so much to offer the world. There's so much you can learn from women, and so to just diminish her down to that is, I'm never at a loss for words, but I'm a little bit at a loss.
It wasn't to diminish though. It's just how you feel about what he said.
Would you go sit in a car that didn't run just because the AC worked?
That didn't run. The car's main function is to drive. A woman's main function is not to have
a woman's primary benefit to a man, not her vagina.
Okay.
We're talking about physically. Because physically she could still be dope and cool if she wasn't irrational because her hormones are everywhere.
Okay.
Once the you know what I'm saying, that thing it's got crime tape all around it, and like you know what I'm saying, a tea bag string hanging out of it, we can't do nothing with it.
I cannot. I
God.
empathize with anyone who thinks that a woman's primary function is that. Yes, Paul, you can jump right in, sir.
Yeah, I just didn't want to interrupt. But I'm gonna offer a thought your way, Yonci, that I think that a lot of women should consider when speaking to their men about that time of the month, because I don't think a lot of men really know like the. I mean, some do, not all. So I'll speak for myself. I was never taught about that specific thing. I learned from a YouTuber. I just was scrolling on YouTube and I saw a video from Superwoman, and she had a video, girls on their periods, and everything that she told me, I'm like, huh. So that's why women do this and everything like that. So it pains me because I would want to have conversations with like my mothers, my aunts, the women in my life that I want to learn from that from, so I can, because my thing is, if a woman wants me to provide and take care of her, I believe that I should know certain things about that. And sure, I can do my own research and whatnot and what have you, but no period is created equal. And I think that women should be more forthcoming with men discussing that time of the month.
I think a lot of guys get weirded out, though.
That's just me. Okay.
I think a lot of guys get weirded out because they don't have information about that.
True. And it can be weird. It can be uncomfortable. It never fazed me, because if that's something that women go through, then okay, fine. I want to be the man that says, hey, she's going through this. Let me be that chocolate, because I already got that dark skin, so that's double time for me. You know what I'm saying? Let me get her that chocolate, and these hands are good, so I can make you massage. You know what I'm saying? I can put that heating pad on. You know what I'm saying? I'll cook and I'll do all that good shit. That's just me. That's just me in my natural state of wanting to be the man that wants to take care of his woman.
Every massage that I give my woman ends up with me trying to put my face in her butt, and I can't do that then, so I'm not doing it now. So we're just
help us. I just saw the strength tonight.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be funny, but what most dudes when we massage women, we know what we're doing. We're trying to massage your shoulders.
That's our foreplay move right there.
and then we end up on the top of your thigh, and we try to rub a little bit, and we touch it with our thumb and see if you move. If you don't move, we know, hey, okay. Then we get the cheeks, and we spread them a little bit, and if you don't react to that, we know what time it is.
You know what? I think I've been really blessed because I have had the pleasure of being around guys
that are scared.
Actually liked my company.
No, they like it. Wait. No. It's not that they didn't. They just like your company. It's like they just didn't know better. Like, and it's not. That's all it is. Because again, even if this was you and a dude did all these things and you wanted him to touch your special put your no square, if you wanted him to be in there, he would pick up on these things. But a lot of dudes, they really try to go and give girls massages because they think like, at least I'm getting a rub on you and touch on you and transfer that.
About a relationship where the guy didn't have to have sex to be able to enjoy my company.
We're not
like,
saying,
and it wasn't him being denied. It was just.
Oh, wait. To be clear, we didn't say that we don't enjoy your company. We're just talking about the extra that goes along with you guys bleed, like
But you enjoy
the irritability, the bloating, all of that shit, eating up all my snacks. Like, that's the stuff that we're talking about that we want to deal with. Of course, we're going to deal with you because, Jesus, we know, like, sometimes when you buy the car, you got to do maintenance. Like, we know what comes with it. But in our mind, I'm just saying what we think.
Like, but I'm not even talking about being on a cycle. I'm saying there are some men who genuinely enjoy the company of a woman. Yes, they also enjoy physical intimacy, but sometimes they just want to just have her company, and they don't.
Oh, yeah, I'm not that guy. I enjoy my woman's company, but a random, absolutely not. My woman's company is different, but a regular woman's company, if you're on your cycle, you can go home, or you don't come.
But let's take the cycle out of it. You've never had a time where you hung out with a woman and you were okay with not smashing. You only want to hang out with smashing
women, like women that I wouldn't date, but I don't hang out with women. Like I wasn't. That's just I wasn't raised like that. I don't hang out with women that way. And mind you, right? You know, I got a bunch of cousins. I'm the youngest of 24 grandchildren. I'm the only boy. So I get my women hanging out with those people. Out in the world, I don't hang out with women because, again, when a man is with a woman, he takes on a responsibility for something that's not his. If we go out, I'm responsible for your safety to some degree. If a dude comes over there and starts trying to harass you, I'm supposed to step up. I'm supposed to pay. I'm supposed to make sure you get to your car, all that stuff, and you're not mine. So you get all the benefit of having me as a man without having to come up off none of them cheeks. So I just don't hang out with women like that. I never have, and I was kind of taught not to before, the aforementioned reasons.
Don't be sad, Yonci.
I'm definitely not sad. It's another emotion. Okay, I am
disappointed. That he is disappointed, y'all.
You're shocked. But here's the thing, though, listen, right? One thing that I can say that's a absolute truth is it's actually really healthy if a woman really just listens to how men talk. Because oftentimes some women don't listen to how men talk, and they internalize how we talk, and now they're feeling that we said a particular thing, and that's not what we said, right? He never said that he didn't value women, right? He just said he doesn't want you to come over at that. Why? Because the way that he was taught, if we listen, and I'm not saying you didn't listen, but if we listen to what he said, he wasn't taught that to just, he was taught that I'm responsible for this woman. If I'm going to be responsible, that means she's now my woman. And if she's now my woman, then she can come over and bleed and, do whatever. But I'm not going to take that responsibility to just casually hang out with women. So he has a completely different subset of thoughts. So
I do think
I agree with that.
I do think that I listened.
I'm not attacking. Let me say this because I tell this to my kids. I'm not trying to attack you.
I don't feel attacked. I'm very good at not taking things personally. I used to be in my 20s very defensive. Now you can speak your truth all day long, and it does not change who I am and what I'm doing with my life. What I am reacting to is what I feel is missing out. So I can hear someone's truth and feel sorry for them. Like somebody who feels the need to put barbecue or put steak sauce on a perfectly delicious ribeye. That makes me sad. But that doesn't mean I'm not listening to their truth and I'm not accepting of their truth. And
That's
I'm,
unacceptable.
it's just, oh my God, it kills me.
That's
Like,
that's like, or that's worse than ordering well done to me.
it's just, it's bad. You know, well, even if you put
I don't
steak
think
sauce
none of
on a
those
well done, it's like double no. But no, when I hear that, I do hear men speak. This is something I've made a living off of for the last 10 years. I hear men speak, and for some, it comes across as a shallowness with women. With some women, when they talk about men, there's a shallowness when they talk about men. When I hear some women talk about men, it sounds like the only purpose they serve in their life is to pay for things. That is what I hear from some women. And if he's got a big member, you know, hey, he can get me there. But that's it. They don't see it as he has wisdom, he has leadership, they don't see all the value beyond the wallet. And sometimes when I hear discourse about women, it does sound as though they are minimized to their reproductive organs and what pleasure they can give a man, as opposed to all the value they have as far as their wisdom and their intuitiveness and their, you know, just all of these little nuances that make women a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, you know, that's my long-winded response to that.
I think what he didn't say also is that, and he could have, but he just didn't, right? I think he didn't say, I value women outside of the house. What he did say is, I don't want you to come home. So to me, that says that he values them outside of the house, in when he's in that space, right? But when you come across my threshold, I have decided what I want to and what I don't want to deal with. And that's just something I don't want to deal with. Now he said it a little bit more voracious, and that's okay.
I said
Because
what I said the part that she didn't already know, and the part that I didn't say that she does also know is that no woman is coming to my house unless we're having sex. So she also knows that.
Yeah.
So there's no way that someone crosses my threshold as vampire food because I don't eat red meat. Well, that kind of red meat, if I can help it. So like I'm just not going to. There's no point in you coming over here. Just save your gas money, and I'll catch you on your first, flow-free day. But at the same time, fellas, if you get a girl and she's got a heavy cycle, just convince her to get an IUD. It'll knock that off, and she just won't have one at all. You're welcome.
I am just going to move on to the submitted question. I am going to move on.
But I
Okay.
mean, I respect the fact that he speaks with such passion and conviction. You know, like some guys don't have any type of conviction about anything that they say. So
They can't have conviction behind women because when they do, they sound dumb. This isn't even me being passionate. This is how I normally speak.
that's what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm saying. I respect the fact that you speak that way, but some guys just don't know how to say what they want to say, when they want to say it, how they want to say it. And it's not even that they're timid. They just don't. They haven't practiced the habit of learning how to speak for themselves. And I respect the fact that he's willing to just share it.
If
right?
if she had a question that said, how do you feel about men who go 50-50 with women, and she put me on the other side of that conversation, y'all will hate me. But she also knows that that's not a question that she can pose here, because then, it's women. I'm focused on. I'm way harder on men than I am women, and I think that's what gets missed because of the people who only see me interact on this panel, because we're talking about dating, and I'm an advocate for men. But when it comes
to on the men,
well,
I mean, y'all said no man should be. Yeah, I think you do show that side.
Well, it's infinitely worse or more passionate than what you would think that it would be, because at the end of the day, I don't think that women are responsible for changing things or making things better or leading anything. So I put all that responsibility on men. And by doing so, that's why I hold men to a significantly higher standard. But then I also understand that men who can meet that standard that men should know that society wants us to be held to should be able to say things like, hey, listen, babe, you bleeding right now, cool. Take these 4 or 5 days and go with your girlfriend and bleed somewhere else. Like, y'all go on a girl trip and go do some other stuff like that. When you come back home, the house will be clean, and I'll have some chocolate and you know, clean sheets waiting for you with a towel for just in case. But for those first 3 or 4 days when it's crazy heavy, I don't want to see you around here. So it's kind of like you give your best employee like the couple days off because they work so hard. Like they've been pulling 12-hour days for 21 days straight, cooking, cleaning, being nasty, all of that stuff, and then she gets her monthly inspection, so to speak. So you like, hey, go take care of that. I got it over here. I mean, it could be a nice thing.
It could be a nice thing if it wasn't packaged in "Stay away from me." That's the part that's going to lose.
And to be honest,
get the heating pad and massage feet and run to the store. And
I pay for all that anyway. That's a given. That's understood. But like,
so Willie, you wouldn't be willing to just be like, you know what? Let me just rub her feet because of the moment at hand.
If it was my woman, yes.
He said that
so
earlier.
Yonci, I think it's presentation matters.
I'm not gonna kick my woman out the house because
how he's presenting it.
I thought you were talking about the kicking out with the woman too.
Right. That's what I was saying. Like
you did differentiate beforehand.
No, that's that.
But
he did.
Yeah, that hit me
I'm not
too
gonna
first.
cut myself
I'm like, wait a minute,
because she's gonna stop bleeding eventually, and I'm gonna need her to come back. So no, I'm not gonna shoot myself in the proverbial foot. That's crazy.
Cut your nose off to spite your face.
So just to provide some perspective, I came from a big family too. Like, I'm the youngest boy or youngest male of 37 first cousins on my mom's side alone. I think I'm second youngest of like 75 on my mom and my dad's side.
Your people did a lot.
Oh yeah, listen, like we reproduce. If I tell you my story, you don't even want to know. We take care of ours, we love ours, don't mess with ours, but love us. But anyway, like the whole thing is like we had a different scale of balance where we were just held to a different structure. Like the older generation didn't let us fool around, and the older generation of boys or men didn't let us get coddled by the girls. Because being cute, you'd be like, oh, I can, and then run to the girl and they'd be like, don't hit my cute little. Nah, the boys ain't play that. So we weren't allowed to. So we had to learn how to provide appropriate language. So what Willie's saying is not against normalcy. Like that's legitimately how we want to think. Like, number one, I don't want if I'm just dealing with you and not if I'm just dealing with you, I don't want anything that'll jeopardize something permanent in my life, especially if I've already made an investment highly to myself. Now, if we're on the up and up to become that status that we desire, then absolutely, I will be willing, and I can't speak for Willie, and I won't speak for any men, unlike men speak for men. I always speak for me. I will allow you certain dispositions in my home. If you saying I'm not feeling good, and bring your little tail over here. You know what I mean? Let's make sure you're settled, you're comfortable, because inevitably that's going to be my responsibility anyway. And if I'm invested in you, I might as well get to practicing, because there's going to be times where, guess what? You won't catch me on a bad day, and I'm not going to feel like freaking doing it. I'm learning about cussing. 2025.
I appreciate that.
We doing great. I'm not going to feel like doing it, but at the end of the day, it's going to be my obligation, and it's going to be my debt and my responsibility. And to be honest, growing up with my father and my mother, I had, and my sister, I know enough about that cycle to not concern myself with it unless it pertains to my environment. Huh. That's how I view it. Now, what we can talk about is limited because, again, it's not. I don't suffer from it. I did the TINS unit in 2021, and if y'all don't know what the TINS unit is, men, it's humbling. That little stem cell thing where they put on your abdomen and they put on your inner thigh, they put around your back and your lower back,
Emulating
and they simulate contractions,
Yeah.
and they simulate.
Wow.
So what it
I did it
doesn't do.
tomorrow. That's listen.
No, you have to go to the doctors. It's a whole lot different, bro. I done the tens on my hamstrings running track. Over here, I dislocated this shoulder. I lived on them things all throughout college. That what they did to me, out was inhumane. And I was watching this lady, this random lady, and she was probably, she had a toddler, and they looked like about 9 and 10 years old. But she was a gorgeous woman. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done what I did and made a fool of my goddamn darn self. Be trying here. So I had these things, bow, 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 bow. And she's in there, and she's like, I'm just interested in watching. She watched me on by level 3. She saw me turning like this. And it's like, it's unnatural how you're moving. You're just like, but by the time they got to what's called Braxton Hicks, which is like intense unconscious pain, it's similar to getting punched in both eyes and then expecting to walk down the street.
Breathe beforehand,
right? And then when they get
like,
to the actual point where they're about to birth this process, when you get to the peak of what pain feels like and the threshold goes away, and they just reset. They're like, well, how did it feel during pregnancy? Well, I don't know. I just saw a blessing here. Like, but that is real. And if you don't have that sort of conditional tolerance, I got a different respect for them, but it doesn't allow me to say, hey, I respect you enough to understand where Willie's coming from. When your time is your time, you go, I will throw the chocolate. I will do what I have to do. But I am going to willingly stay as far away from you as possible unless you need me. And it keeps me safe, and it keeps me from trusting you to not have me in a vulnerable space to take something personal. That's it. I'll go to my basement and practice my bass. You got my phone number. You got my Instagram. You can call, text me. You can scream downstairs. But as it pertains to a stranger, no, you don't have that access, because that's a lot of investment.
Yeah, one thing I'll never take from a woman is that whole having baby shit, because I've seen some of my children snatched out of their mothers, and my kids the smallest one was 11 pounds. So I wouldn't wish childbirth on my worst enemy.
It reminded me of a Charlie horse, but that's just spread all the way around your midsection. It is.
I've had a Charlie horse.
I wish
I've had that
y'all
level 10 and that 10 unit. Ain't nothing like that.
To let y'all know what it felt like to get kicked in the balls.
Yo, imagine having a toothache in your scrotum.
I've had testicular torsion, bro. We're good. I crushed all of those pain metrics. That's the most painful thing a man can experience.
Bless your journey. Nope. Absolutely not.
So many thoughts running through my head. Ladies in the audience tonight, 2 words.
But I will love you.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Please don't unsubscribe. Please don't unsubscribe.
No, understand. I would, if you say I want a hug, I will hug the life out of you. We can sit there and go to sleep. And we can love. Do whatever you want. But I am not going to assume that who you are is who I expect you to be in that time frame.
If it makes you feel better, I don't
sacred.
expect her to do like any of her household duties while she's leaking.
I will do everything that you do.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I'm gonna do them, but it's okay if they just go.
No, I'm gonna wash the dishes. I'm gonna clean up.
No, I got a dishwasher. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
No, I got a dishwasher. I'm ordering in every day.
I hate dishwasher. I think they're weird.
Yeah. Oh man, you gotta get.
I can't see the dishes get clean. Like it's
get you one with
I
the door.
I call them double-decker dish dryers. If you wash your dishes, you can put them in 2 different decks and let them air dry. Double-decker dish dryer. Let's get to the submitted question. If you have a submitted question, you can send it to me on Patreon. Just DM it to me, and I will add it to the show. All right.
Somebody did ask the question further up. about what questions should you ask, and I'm not sure if they were asking what questions should a woman ask a man, or what questions you should ask. Period. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't. I'm looking.
So if you are still in the chat and you ask what questions should you ask, because I was saying Yonce asked questions like a woman. Can you clarify what you mean by what questions should a woman ask a man, or what questions you should ask in dating, or what were you asking?
Oh man, let me read this one because this is gonna be.
I was already gonna ask you.
Yep, I'll read this one. Let's see if I can do my best impersonation. Okay. Can you make that bigger though? I'm trying to pretend like I can't see.
Okay. Let's see. Whoops, that went the opposite way.
All right, never mind. You just put it back. I can read the bottom line of the DMV. I'm cool. All right. Why do I always get friend zoned? I'll be honest. I'm at a loss. Every time I think I'm making a genuine connection with someone on Bumble or Hinge, it turns out to be, you're such a nice guy territory. Like, I get it. Being nice is good, but not exactly why I'm on a dating app. My photos are decent. At least I think so. I've got a mix of solo shots and hobby pics. And I try to keep my bio light and fun without overdoing it. When it comes to messaging, I usually start with a question or something I notice in their profile. But even that doesn't seem to be anywhere serious. Am I doing something wrong, or is the friend zone just an inevitable part of online dating? Bro, you're cooked.
Cooked.
He is cooked. Oh, God, that boy is barbecue chicken. Nope.
Oh my God. They somebody
Ow.
said that either you're not attractive to most women, or they don't like how you behave. Like
So I have a question.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, sir. Go ahead, please.
So I was that guy.
Oh, this is your question?
No.
Willie.
No.
Willie thought it was you, cuz.
Yeah, no.
Listen, and if it was you, I would never admit that.
Yeah, don't take that to your grave.
Take that one.
We're not even gonna go there, because I'm in my transition. I'm growing. I'm evolving. So I'll just put it to you like this. I agree with what you guys said. This dude's cooked, man. But I was that guy. I was that guy on Bumble and Hinge, thinking I was going somewhere, and had the profile, had a nice profile and everything. But the truth is the truth. I'm probably the ugliest guy on this platform, and I'm probably the ugliest guy on Hinge. I know I'm not the most attractive person. But
I would not say that's a bit extreme, Paul.
It's a bit extreme, but it's the truth. And I'm gonna.
I wouldn't even say that.
I don't.
I know.
We're not doing that.
Yeah, to say that you're saying?
No. What are you saying for real?
Don't speak to yourself like that, bro.
Yeah, I don't even allow that. Nobody. Go ahead. What are you saying?
But anyway, back to where I kind of lost my train of thought there. But my thing is, his reasoning for everything that he's going through is the reason why I just decided to just get off of dating apps, because they're not built for, or at least they're not built for the qualities that he says. Because he says, "Oh, you're such a nice guy," territory and everything like that. And I've been told these. "Oh, you're such a good guy. You're such a gentleman. You're this. You're this." And if you say you value these things, why aren't you willing to, invest in that connection, so to speak? And for lack of a better way of saying it. So the way I see it is like, what I would say to him is, get off the dating apps. That's just me. Like, I'm not a fan of dating apps anymore. I respect it and I know why it's there, but it's really a money grab. You know what I'm saying? And the way I see it, you got to take a look at yourself in the mirror and be like, you know what? I just want to be better at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And work on your organic self and how you interact with women offline, because Lord knows how many catfishes are out there. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely wouldn't want him to get caught up in something where he would meet a girl in their connection and the only connection that they with is his wallet. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my 2 cents.
The answer is super easy, right? The answer to why you always get friend zoned is you have no personality.
And you send this type of question in.
right? Because a man with personality, um, character, charisma, or whatever the case is not going to get easily friend zoned. She's friend zoning you, guy, because you haven't developed the characteristics that are beyond just being a good guy, right? And it's nothing wrong with being a good guy because I think, I mean, deep down, I know I got some nigga in me, but for most, by and large, I'm, you know, I'm a good guy, right? But I have character, and if you don't have it, they sell it at Walmart. It's on aisle F22. It's on the bottom shelf. It's $199.97. That's
I
number
say
one.
F1. It's F1 where I live.
Oh, okay. So they might got it on a different shelf. So number two, women that put you in the friend zone are doing that because you're coming off too nice. Like, oh, let me do that for you. Oh, I'll take care of that, bruh. Let them give them some
Let them
mystery,
suffer.
if you will, right? Give them some mystery. Give them some what's the word? Is it not illusion, but give them something to desire
Yeah.
besides you taking care of everything. If you're a people pleaser, and if you're a people pleaser, because this is what exactly sounds like you are, right? I don't know this person, I don't know who it is. It sounds like you're a people pleaser. And if you're constantly trying to do and be everything, that's why women are going to say, hey, you're such a nice guy. That's why your connections end in the friend zone. And I'm not saying go be a bad boy. I'm not saying go be tough and carry a gun and, sell dope in the
There's
corner.
got to be some tension.
Huh?
There's got to be a little bit of tension.
Right. There has to be something for her to left for her to desire. And if there's nothing for her to desire, then there are things that's something internal that you have to discover. What are the things that I need to develop to become a better person to attract? And I tell this to anybody I talk to in dating, but specifically I tell it to women, but I'll say it to this guy here too. If you are not attracting the people that you desire, it's because you're not magnetized, right? If you take two negative magnets, they'll never attract, right? So you have to decide what it is that the women that you want, because my mentor told me this back when I was married. Craziest story. He said, write down the type of woman that you want, that you need, and then write down a list of the type of man that woman needs, and then become that man. So in order for you to get out the friend zone, my friend, you have to decide what kind of man you want to be and what kind of woman you need for the man that you are. And when you do that, then you can find your person. There's nothing wrong with dating apps. People blame dating apps all the time, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say. The same people that are on dating apps are the same people are that in the world. So it's not the dating apps, it's the person and how they interact with it.
So
I want to add this too. So there's obviously a lack of attraction that's necessary. So if a person doesn't, like, I don't care how much swag a person has or personality, if I don't think they're attractive, it's not going to go anywhere. And then the other hand, it doesn't matter how attractive they are. If they don't have any personality or swag, I don't want it to go anywhere. I might just look at them and be like, oh, he's cute to look at. But I think that there is such a talent required to flirt, because if you don't ever add any spice, it feels like friendship. Because I could be friendly, like I'm friendly with Willie all day long, but we don't flirt with each other. We don't do those things to like grow that part of the relationship, because that's not necessary. But if somebody was trying to go from a friendship to a relationship, there would need to be physical compliments. There would need to be little innuendos, and not like being creepy, but there has to, like, the guy has to cross that line of being that way. And I think sometimes guys think that they're being polite and they're being, what is the word? A gentleman. But I think you can gentleman yourself out of the drawers. Like you have to show that I recognize you have different genitalia than me. And there are ways to say that without being crass. So it's like finding that sweet spot in the middle where you're still being cordial, you're not being sweet, but at the same time, you're making it clear I'm not coming at you just to be homies. And a lot of times when I talk when I see guys and they try to spit game in the DM or something like that, they try to come in so cordially, almost like they're trying to do a business deal. As opposed to, I would say, lead with a compliment. You are so beautiful. I would love to get a chance to get to know you, and state your intentions out the gate, because she's either gonna say that's amazing and then be interested, or she's not gonna be interested. It's not really, you know, you're not gonna shoot yourself if she finds you attractive. She's not gonna like you for a multitude of other reasons. But I noticed that with a lot of guys, they're so slow to get out of that flirtation gate, and it doesn't build up any chemistry.
Fellas, if a woman has you in the friend zone, that relationship will never work. There's once you're in the friend zone, you'll never have that genuine burning desire from that woman. Never, like ever. Like hell will freeze over. And I would recommend men date women from Atlanta before that woman ever desires you genuinely. Like when you're in women put men in the friend zone that they want to wait there while they go out and get ran through by the men they really like. And if they can't get one of those guys to commit and settle down with her, they'll come back and try to pick you out of there because you're the bargain bin now. And if you as a man accept being in the friend zone and try to date someone that's put you in there, you don't respect yourself. You deserve every bit of hell that woman gets from you or puts you through, because it's a self-respect thing. You can, like, I don't even have a vagina, but if I had a vagina, it would have dried up when I read this. Like this entire, like the guys who send messages like this are just, they're the guys that shouldn't be reproducing. They should just be like scientists and doctors, dentists, all the boring jobs that the world needs, like, and just they can just work all day and not have girlfriends and children, because we got to let these type of weak genes die out society-wise. And then women get better men, and then men collectively just get better. Because what the hell? Bro said that I usually start with the question or something I notice in her profile. But even that doesn't seem to be anything serious. Yeah, bro, because you restating the obvious. You go look at her profile and says, oh, you're a Cowboys fan just because it said that. Like, if you're trying to start, if you have to either be funny or like create tension, like say, oh, hey, I'm glad to see we both have good taste. Then they ask, well, what do you mean how we both got good taste? Well, we matched. Now she's laughing. Like, you can't go and put a dissertation in her inbox or try to be like, well, hey, if I shake your hand and we can go to church. Like, you're calling it like you want to be her little brother. And most girls don't want to sleep with their little brother. I would say most women don't. And
it's a safe bet.
I don't think that it's possible. I think that it's very challenging for someone who is this guy to ever have a meaningful connection with the relationship, because he's not going to do anything. He's not going to be able to provide anything meaningful to a woman. Like this guy, if he gets a woman, a guy like Brad is going to take his woman from her. And Brad's not even going to try to. Brad is going to be at work with her, hang out with her, be in the same circle on accident. And then she's going to see Brad as, okay, Brad outside of work, he get dressed. Oh, Brad is funny because he quiet, but he talked to me. He made me laugh. Now she and Brad face kikiing and laughing and shit, not worried about you. You calling her while she's sitting there talking to Brad, eating his wings. And she
keep hitting the ignore button. You wonder why you going to voicemail.
And Brad ain't even trying to get in her guts. But then Brad pick up on it. And, hey, now your girl, Mr. Friend Zone girl who came back and got you, she done got her with a real one, and you at home wondering why she's coming home jumping straight in the shower.
Well, the question before this one was, have you ever cheated? I actually dated a young lady. Well, I won't even say I really dated her, but I was dealing with a young lady who she was in a relationship, and he was in tech, right? In a tech space. And she was laughing and kikiing with me, every day. She'd leave work, come to laugh and kiki with me for lunch, and then, I sent her home, after we do what we do. So I completely understand, that friend zone, when you're in the friend zone and she like buddy, but that ain't, there was no sexual tension that he created, that I didn't have to create, because it literally is just, you just exist, and sometimes it's just there. So to this gentleman, I think you could take your takeaways with you have to learn how to, like you do need to learn how to flirt. Um, you do need to learn how to be funny, right? Like genuinely funny. I met a woman that told me some years ago that three things that a man could be, he needs to have to be funny, be able to sing, or could cook. And most men, if you live on your own, you can cook some of the basic stuff. But if you're funny, that puts you above literally almost all of the other guys because women, I've never met a woman that doesn't like tacos and a funny guy. So figure that out and figure out how to create some sexual tension so you can get out of the friend zone. You probably are not trying to smash, and that might be the problem. You probably eventually want to get there, but you're trying to be so respectable, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the women that you want, they want you to want them, and you're probably not creating the space for them to want you back, or you don't know how to do it. So that's something that you have to develop. Go ahead, Yonci.
Speaking of creating space, Janice created space for us to continue the show for 20 minutes. So shout out to her. Thank you so much, Janice. We are.
Let's see you, Janice.
I think what happens with a lot of guys that are successful women is that it's understood what we're here for. It's understood who we are here for. And it's also understood who we are. So we just we meet women and we just connect with them because it's obvious. Like we don't have to go through all of the what do you call it, like the prove it stage, like all the shit tests that a lot of women try to put men through to identify who they are. Like our presence carries that for us, and then the guys that have to, who just don't know these things, like how to flirt or how to build sexual tension or how to just be him. Like it's like old school people used to say, it's got to be in you and not on you, and that's why I say again, like these guys that it's not in. Like all the guys that are going out here and paying for like men coaching not men coaching, because being coach is one thing. I'm talking like dating, like the guys that are men out here going to try to get like dating coaches to help them find women and stuff. Most of that stuff is superficial. I think that it's unfortunate for men that the only people who benefit from dating coaches at a substantial level are women. Because women are the ones that have to go out here and become something to do, what women have to become to get the men they want is infinitely easier than what a man has to become what a woman would want to choose her. And a lot of guys will never be in a position where they even can go out here and choose women. They have to go out here and find women who agree to settle with them.
So I'll say this last point to your point, Willie. My ex-wife, we got divorced in 2017. She told me when we were married that I didn't flirt, right? So I decided, and this is to help, hopefully this helps, I don't know if you show this to the guy or he sees that he's watching, hopefully he is, right? I decided during the pandemic that I was going to learn or teach myself how to flirt. And some of the stuff was corny, but it worked, right? Corny stuff works, right? But I taught myself how to be more flirtatious. I wouldn't even say I taught myself. I practiced being flirtatious with no expectation or response. Like the simplest thing, the simplest compliments and flirts that you could give to a woman will literally light her up, probably because she's not heard a compliment in a week or more, right? And I'm not talking about her physical features, right? Her butt is big, her breasts are this. Don't talk about those things, but learn how to compliment the things that are not obvious, and you'll have a woman's attention a lot better. I hope to God that this guy is watching, right? Because I want you to be out of the friend zone. Say what?
I hope he's watching because he needs to stop dating and focus on something else.
No, I wouldn't say that.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
I wouldn't say. I would say that he needs to learn. He has to practice the skills to be better. Like one of the things that some people don't do in dating is practice the skills to be better, right? And this is a skill that you can't. It's not like singing. Singing is a talent that if you got it, you got it, right?
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, hell no. Hell, Chris, we on.
I mean, there are some, and I was hoping that you kind of fall into that little territory as far as it being an art, right? So,
I'm not. I'm just saying, like, there are some people who are just gifted, right? And then some people have to practice.
No, and again, I don't think that's fair. Even those who are gifted,
So for example, LeBron is 6'8", 250. He's a freak of nature, right? You don't see 6'8", 250 freight trains running up and down the basketball court. You don't see that that's just he just got talent, right? It's developed.
And that's not fair for you to say.
Yeah, because
And the
his
reason
father
why
could
it's
have
not
made
fair
him.
for you to say
LeBron
is the
James' dad
fact
didn't
that
make
this
him
man
a great basketball player.
he practices. He's religious with his regimen.
True,
And
but
that
what I'm saying is,
wait a minute.
go ahead.
He's true with his regiment, and
Yes.
both places can be absolutely true. And when it comes to like us men folk, if you're not, let's say you have, if you're, I don't even want to call you weird, but if your focus is on what vanity is and what it perceives itself to be, then that's a whole nother journey. But if you know as foundational principles, I am to protect, and in order to protect, I got to protect mind, body, and spirit. And if your body is weak, the world will know. And if you are not training your body to do what it's supposed to do, you can look as physically threatening as you want. But if you don't practice, like Willie, combat, we will in fact know. So it doesn't matter how gifted you may be, everything that we have, everybody has an advancement here. Some people have an advancement of intellect. Some people have an advancement of physical prowess. Some people have an advancement of swag. But at the end of the day, what are you practicing? And once you become a master of what you're practicing, what else the hell are you doing? You know, if that's all you're focusing on is what's going to make people attracted to you, then you're going to inevitably waste your time.
Shaq could have practiced being a 3-point shooter every day, all day, and still sucked at it. He practiced throws and sucked. Bro, he needs to go join a church convent to become the first male nun and give up on dating. He needs to date Jesus because Jesus already loves him. There's nothing that man can do. It's everything ain't for everybody. It's like everybody's not meant to be a husband. Everybody ain't meant to be a wife. Everybody's not meant to be a father.
Hey man, Willie, that man is trying and he wants some help. Don't down that man.
Look, all that's his mom is the reason why he still thinks. If he had a dad would have been like, "Hey son, this ain't for you. Go do something else." He needs to have.
Wait, Willie, say it again.
Like this, that's the part. Like again, we hold women accountable for a bunch of shit, even though they're allergic to it. It's like they're genetically predisposed to being allergic to being held accountable. We don't tell men the truth either. And like, bro, it's done. Like, there is nothing for you now, bro, because your life is half over. So you done spent the first half of your life being a weirdo, and then you want to now go try to find somebody else to date and be a weirdo with them. Like, why would I want a woman to accept that? I wouldn't tell my daughter to date a dude like this.
But there is a woman that might like that weirdo stuff. I mean, it's a needle in a haystack.
It sounds good, right? It sounds good, right? But I'll say this. Let's go ahead and assume that all these women are all of our daughters. Which one of us is going to tell our daughter to date this nigga?
I want to ask the ladies in the comments, what has a guy done that you know you're automatically putting him in the friend zone? What things has he done or not done that you're like, nah, that could never be my man?
So while the women think of their answer, I think so. I'm so you learn this in corporate America. You got to get to the root of the problem. I'm reading what this man wrote. Every time I think I make a connection with, turns into you're a nice guy. He not stating his intentions. He not saying what the fuck he want. Excuse my language. He not saying what the F he want. And that's why he getting in the friend zone.
Hey man,
his pictures.
But see, you missed me say that part earlier. Like he's not
like we got off into
creating
other
that. He's not creating it.
We start talking about who raised him and all this stuff. He not saying what the heck he want. Like can't nobody put you in the friend zone unless you let him. He need to say what the heck he want. He not saying what he want. He talking about his pictures and his hobbies, and that ain't got nothing to do with it. You're not saying what you want. You got to say what the hell you want to a woman. Either she gonna accept or reject, and you move the hell on. I'm a nerd. I just am. I know I am. But
I feel like bro is a virgin.
But I'm just saying. But I have no problem meeting women. So it's not that he's maybe weird or he a little awesome. He just not saying what the heck he want. These girls are apparently they communicate with him, so he's in the door. He's just not saying anything. Like he kind of shooting himself in the foot. If he said if they're responding to him, because they don't want you, they just don't want to respond. Like if a girl don't want to talk to you, she'll leave you on unread forever.
Shit.
So the fact that she responding and he's talking to them, he's getting somewhere, but he's not saying nothing. He's not saying what you want. Like, is he asking him out? Like, is he like, hey, let's get together? Or something. Like he's just sitting here talking and thinking his picture's gonna do him.
Hey, he's the dude that invites you over for a massage and he's gonna cook for you, and that's it.
And that's it.
You literally gonna get food
it's kind
and
of
a
like that chicken
massage.
Alfredo type dude.
How
Like,
is
oh,
mine-
I got this
Hang out
thing
with
kinda
when you're on your
stored to win
period.
everybody.
Hey, first of all, don't hate on Alfredo because Alfredo's
I'm
bit
gonna hate on
lit.
chicken Alfredo.
Wait a minute. I hate Alfredo. I've had the most disgusting chicken Alfredo, and Monte has always claimed that he can make this amazing chicken Alfredo, and I've never tried it. So finally, I said, you know what? I'm actually gonna try it. He made it this week, and I had to take back everything I've ever said about chicken Alfredo. I've just not had the right one. His chicken Alfredo was pop. It was
chicken
but-
Alfredo.
So let me explain.
Another name for something else, or are we really talking about chicken Alfredo?
No,
really
I'm
good.
talking
Nah.
about when I'm
Sometimes
saying
I'm a little
chicken
slow. I
Alfredo.
want to be sure I call it.
when I talk about chicken Alfredo,
The women who claim that that's what they can make, and
is when you are sitting there and you have when you know, as men, we don't really carry a lot of expectation. We have this standard, whether it's met or it's not. But when you like, okay, you have a belief that this person's going to give you something good, and you hear it in the kitchen, out in the jar pop, and you get that melted chalk in the jar, and you're expected to digest them. Now, I'm one of them people. I'm considered one of them weird healthy eaters. I'm not an herbivore. I'm not one of them weird ones. But I kind of monitor what I eat, and I don't eat a lot of processed food. So the first thing I taste is the fact that this thing tastes like carpet. It tastes like liquid carpet.
I'm about to
And then
Alfredo right now.
I just can't eat it. My body can't. And then the only thing you can do is throw Old Bay in it. The only thing you can do is put more processed stuff in it, and then you're gonna saturate it in olive oil, and then you're gonna throw a bunch of garlic in it, a bunch of dehydrated, unprocessed Parmesan cheese in it, and then you're gonna feed it to me, and I'm gonna be like, are we having intercourse now? I'm trying to respect her platform.
he's triggered by the chicken.
I am triggered by chicken Alfredo.
Yes, he told us about
so it's
that.
much deeper than this.
Listen,
Like,
for bro, I'll tell you, there's one person who will like never turn you down. That they're always gonna take you as you are,
Your mama.
and that is Jesus and his Father.
Jesus.
So I just suggest that's who he turns to at this point because I don't believe there's hope for him.
That's hard.
So real
That's
quick,
hard.
Mont put a 20-minute extension. Y'all, I don't even have to ask Mont if it's love offering. It's a 20-minute.
Shouts out to Mott.
Show no love. Love
I'm
against
just trying to
Mom
say
better
it.
show his
You
face
didn't need to
today.
say it. Why you say it? But
You
anyway.
don't never have to ask me if it's a
Don't ever have to ask. You don't think there'll be new people on here like, well, what if it's a let? No.
It is
So
what it
he
is.
slid that in before he even got on the show. So thank you, Mont, for that. We're gonna
When we going? Yeah, when we going to?
9:40 right now, 10:40 your time. Shout out to all the people, you know who you are. I see a lot of my course members, my group coaching program. I see a lot of you. You don't have to respond back if you want to say anonymous, but I do see y'all, and y'all are showing up, showing some love. I see some former students, some current students. By the way, this is a great time to mention my February group has just opened enrollment this week. I got 9 spots left. I cut it off at 10. And so if you guys are interested in learning more about my coaching program, all you have to do is slide into my, is that a new one? You got to slide in.
Yeah, round it off for now.
All right. We're going to 10 o'clock or 11 Eastern. Thank you. But if you want to learn more about the program, just slide it, go into my bio, click the link there, and then click on dating manual, and then you can set up a call. That's that. But I want to get to some of these ladies' answers. I asked the ladies, what were some reasons you put a man in the friend zone where you were like, he could never be my man? Someone's Quita said he was too feminine. Yeah, we cannot have that. Too feminine. Ash said he lacked confidence in his approach. That's a big thing for me. Like, don't come at me not confident. Alicia said indecisive, not confident, lack of boundaries. Oh, when a man lets you walk all over him. Too timid. Guys that were in the friend zone deserve to be there. They put themselves there by not shooting their shot, and some of the attraction just wasn't there. Sunrise says, I have put men in the friend zone because I thought they wanted to be there. They were cool and never complimented. So I didn't know they were interested. They were indirect. If I don't know you like me, you're going to be friend zone. That's why I say you got to be assertive. That's why I say when you slide in the DM, don't worry about your feelings and being embarrassed. Oh my God, I was seen. You have to take a risk if you're a man and you're putting yourself out there. So I am feeling you. I find you attractive. And then let her say, oh, I don't really see you that way. And then move on. Better than trying to talk about the weather for 16 weeks.
And like, when did that become a thing?
What?
Like, I don't know. Like when we used to go, like, you know how many times I got rejected? I'm 41. I'm from that area. We were just like, we know how to take a hit and give a hit. You know what I mean? Like, no.
So when I say that, people think I'm crazy. You go to the club, you be 0 for 12. You just else. You talk you come back the next night.
Listen. I don't know if y'all did this, but I know back in the day, you would go to the skate rink and you would see 5 that you like. You go to one, she say no. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna catch the other 3 outside. So
I just wanted to see if your homie was available. That's honestly, people had a pivot. Like, what happened? Like, am I? Oh, I won't be the only one to talk about this.
Y'all from a different era.
Not gonna throw me, man. Whatever. Like,
y'all from a different era. I ain't had to do none of that.
See, so here's the thing, Mott. All of us have different gifts, Mott. I can add. Like, accounting and algebra came easy to me. Some things I had to work at. Now, so I had to learn. Like, so, but everybody can learn. So
yeah, I can count on 2 hands the amount of times I done had to speak to a woman and just get her number out of in person. Social media, we spoiled in my generation. I ain't had to go nowhere.
How old are you, young fella?
I'm 31.
Oh yeah, see,
that young fella.
I mean,
you don't do that. That's so mean.
Do you see this right here?
Outside, like we had
to see this right here. Said I'm calling young. He said my generation. That let me know he at least 2.
I mean, at least he's honest enough to admit it. Like,
when he started the show, Chris, he was in his 20s. I'll put it like that.
Crazy word.
I remember.
But the thing was, I was shocked when I found out. So that's a compliment. I had no idea. I thought he was at least in his late 30s. And he said, I'm 29. I was like,
he's been consistent, man. Since since 2021. My man, he been 2022. He been like super consistent. However,
right, you got another Patreon, Yonci? Hopefully it's not something like that, because that's wild.
What Patreon?
Wow.
Is this from Patreon?
Oh, the question. Oh, this one I grabbed from the internet. So when people don't send me anything fresh, I'll just grab it from the internet. So
I'm gonna send you one for next week.
Okay.
So to this,
I think being in a friend zone is crazy. I would never consider myself. I will never say I'm in anybody's friend zone.
Nah.
Now hold on for a second, because let me off rip. This dude looking for a date, so let's put him to the side. Now, there's sometimes I'm gonna test this theory out. Well, you might be there because you just want to put this on hold for a minute, and you come back to it later.
We're not friends.
That's not friend zone. That's called opportunistic. That's called opportunity.
Okay.
That's an opportunistic dude.
Yeah,
but that's what women mean. That's what women mean. It's called the friend zone because it sounds better than saying I'm greedy and I want to use you for the utility that you provide as a man, but not give you any of the utility I give you.
That's the thing with the friend zone. You're not getting any utility out of me. I'm not giving you no utility until we start dating. Then we can talk and all that. But I'm not texting you if we're not romantic. We're not. There's nothing to talk about. So I don't know. I have friends. I have male friends. I have friends that like football and I like football. I got friends that like things that I like. Why would I want to be friends with you?
Hey, Mott, let me ask you a question.
Bro. For real.
If your girl, say there was a girl, right, and y'all weren't romantic, and she wanted to come chill at your house, but she was on her period, would you let her come?
We not romantic?
Nope.
I guess if she was truly a friend, but I don't really have true female friends. I can't imagine that being a scenario.
She's not a friend. She's just somebody you know what I'm saying?
An interest.
It's someone that you're dating. You're dating, but he's not a girlfriend. He's not your girlfriend.
Only way that I would be interested in having a woman come over is if I don't mind. I know that I'm priming it for later on. I know that all right, you can come over now and it's gonna count as an opportunity where in your mind we got closer. and this is just less work that I have to do in the future because I saw you this day, and now you're more comfortable with me, and we got closer. You know,
but it's a guarantee that he already smashed, and so she on her cycle now, and
that's not fair. That's not fair.
First of all, sir, let me finish my statement. He already smashed. They not together. He interested in her, and she always said that, or she said something like, "You always want to just hit every time you see me." He see you like once a month. So this the play. He gonna let her come over when he can't hit, and then that's his equity to get it later.
And that's only if I don't have anything else going on. And this is the old me. This is the old me. This is not necessarily who I am now, but this is I ain't been on a date in mad long because I'm getting married this year. So
you in a relationship and you proposing, or I'm
proposing a whole relationship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're not speaking.
I'm proposing this year hypothetically. Who knows? It can be at any point.
Mine is the only man that I know that has a joint social media page, didn't get caught selling dick, or find out his girlfriend got caught selling coochie.
Damn.
But they have it for a healthy reason. Because every other joint Facebook page, one of the people used to be a hoe. Every one of them. And mine is the only person I know that is exempt from that.
Yeah. Y'all only laughing because it's true.
You ain't even gonna find me liking the girl picture. You ain't gonna find that.
Dang, is that why you didn't like me to have an engagement?
Oh, that's also because he probably got a spam page.
I like
my kids put me onto that.
You don't be liking girls' pictures. I'm joking.
Oh, yeah.
He like girls' pictures from his spam page. My kids.
I don't got no spam page.
He lying.
I just want to acknowledge my saying he priming it for later, like that.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta listen. When I was younger, I understood that like I would text a girl for 3 weeks or a month, and in her head, we know each other, so that when we finally see each other for the first time, it's not like we just having sex with strangers. It's like, oh, I know you, I'm comfortable with you. You know, you are already to some degree my bae, so you know, you it's really just priming, priming it up.
So somebody messaged me. And they're probably gonna be mad I say this, but nobody knows who it is. But a woman messaged me and she said, so it was in regard to Paul making that statement saying he's the ugliest one on the panel.
Oh God.
He said she thinks he's the most attractive one on the panel. So Paul, if you are watching,
who said that?
Shoot your shot, brother.
Wait, what does she look like?
First of all, for the record, me and Mott wasn't on the panel at the time, but you keep going.
That is true. That is true, Jacob. Let the record show. Let the record show.
Some people like rescues, and some people want them saying like a purebred. So like, what does she look like though? Because you're not
y'all arm wrestle over that. Get your ugly behinds. Look.
Now we're not.
He ain't lying.
Why y'all gotta step over that man's shine?
We're not doing that.
Our disrespect radar is impeccable.
We're not doing that.
Take it up with her.
This is my problem with stuff like this. My problem with stuff like that.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you.
So listen, keep this real quick.
There are 31 flavors for a reason.
Then shoot your shot, homie. Like
to the young lady that said he's the most handsome guy on the show.
He said attractive, not handsome.
Attractive, whatever word you use to describe him. Go back when this show is over, because they showed his Instagram. I think slide in your man DM and let him know exactly what you said, and then y'all go ahead, because your boy's not on dating apps, so he needs a little help. So you make it happen, young lady. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for being positive, Chris.
That's all I'm saying. Like, listen, like,
I'm real. I'm not about to be.
No.
He's attractive because he's malleable. And she can get away with doing whatever she wants to do.
Pessimistic Pete over here.
I'm not pessimistic. I'm honest. I'm honest.
We're not doing this.
This is my problem with stuff like that, right? Like when I've liked girls that I knew were kind of ugly in real life before. I'm like, you know what? She's attractive to me, but I always said she's attractive to me, right? I always knew I always knew to be like, objectively, I understand she's not more attractive than this other person or this person, but I kind of like what she got going on. But it's okay to say that. Be like, you know what? I can understand that Paul's probably not everybody's cup of tea, but I like it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Before somebody, I like olives. And I'll tell people, everybody, yeah, I'll be like, listen, I don't want you to just try it. You might not like this. You might not like it. But I'll make sure they know it's an acquired taste. Like,
why do people hate on olives so much?
Y'all wild. Y'all listen. Y'all some wild niggas for liking olives. For real.
y'all like pickles too?
Just put them in your salad. They're great.
Oh my god, I love them in my salad. I love them in lasagna.
That's disgusting.
That's
disgusting.
On nacho, I like them on nacho.
Olives at a great touch.
I can kind of get with that. That's all right there. But this in the lasagna, that's nasty.
Olives at a great touch, man.
I'm sorry. The only benefit to olives is when they're burnt.
I never had burnt olives.
Listen,
I've been
blessed to have burnt olives. And there's a person that doesn't like olives.
I get them plain too, Aisha.
You like the green olives, right? The ones with the little red thing inside too. Yeah, man, that's mine.
We have cultured palates. Willie, don't be a hater.
Oh, it's culture because you like fucking olives?
I don't like effing olives. I like eating them.
Trying to sneak it in there.
No, I don't. I love how we went from friend zone to olives. All right, guys, we are going to switch it up. I am ready with the videos tonight. So I don't know if you can handle all of these, but I'm going to set them up. All right. First one, I'm going to put on the deck here. We're going to just let it play, and then y'all just
A man will change for the right woman. And I don't believe that.
So for whatever reason, it cut it off at the beginning. It says, on social media, we hear a lot that a man will change for the right woman. Okay, here we go.
As we hear on social media that a man will change for the right woman. And I don't believe that. I feel like a lot of good women get done wrong because us as men don't deal with the trauma from our childhood. We don't deal with the trauma from our past relationships. We don't outgrow the mindset that was instilled in us, or a majority of us, when we were younger. A man will change when he's ready to become a good man. Because even when I look at our relationship, you have always been the right woman. You have always been a good woman. But in the beginning, I was blinded by my immaturity that I couldn't see everything that you brought to the table. And it wasn't until I was ready to become a better man, until I was ready to change my way of thinking, that I saw you for the woman that you are. So it's not that men will change for the right woman. Is when a man is ready to become the right man, then he will make the changes. Because there are a lot of men who missed out on good women because they wasn't mature enough to recognize what that woman brought to the table. The times we hear on social media.
Thoughts? Jacob, I thought was going to lose his dinner. So I'm glad you were able to hold that down.
I hate clickbait.
Yeah, this is.
Do you believe that a man will change for the right woman?
I think people say stuff on the internet just for likes and comments and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. Two things are true about what he said. The last thing he said, that a man does need to be mature. I agree with that. That's what Willie said earlier. You know, once a man is out of I like new coochie phase, he's out of a different phase. Yes, that's absolutely true. But I can't stand clickbait shit. And I think that's what that is. Like, some things is just too clickbait. It's like, oh, the man's not going to change. You know what? Some men will. And like, you say things like that as if it applies to all men. That's not true. So you have to be conscious of what you say when you're on a public forum, because it doesn't. All things don't apply to all people, right? So there is a sector of men that hasn't grown up, and they've met a woman. Like, let's say you meet them in college, right? You're a man at 21, right? Per se, but you're not really completely ready to be all the man. But that woman who's learned from wherever she learn how to be a helpmate to help you get to where you need to be. So it happens, right? But now if you're talking about a 40-year-old man, A 35-year-old man that's an adult and he's been an adult for umpteen years, no, he won't change because he is that way. So I just hate clickbait.
We
I don't
give
think it was
Jackson Samuels a
clickbait.
lot of credit for everything he did for men in the men's space, but what we, as much as I abhor the gentleman himself, we got to give Derek Jackson a lot of credit too, because he created a blueprint for these women-minded men to follow. And I like seeing how so many of them are trying to fill his space now that he got caught cheating, with 3 or 4 or 15 women or whatever. So I love him saying that he's monetizing this and making something from it. But if you look at all his content, I'll just tell you that he's one of those dudes that's like, he got all the tall, he's tall, whatever. He got all that shit going for him, but women still don't like him. So he just says anything to get attention and clicks for views on social media.
We talking about this guy right here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so if I can give a different perspective, I kind of agree with him. Because what I heard is that a man pretty much changes once he's ready, and the woman doesn't necessarily get you to change. And I kind of agree that you get to a point where you want to kind of mature, and maybe you can have a woman that kind of makes you want to get there. That makes that kind of she
inspires you.
Inspires you. But I do think that, and I don't know, maybe it's because this is just how I did it. I just got to a point where I'm like, yo, I want to be a little bit different. I want to dress different. I want to be a different person, and I kind of like told myself who I wanted to be, and I just started to move that way. I think I don't think that I'm here because like my girlfriend, like she made you want to be a better man. No, I wanted to be a different type of guy, and I became that. And of course, she inspired me to be better every day. But I don't know, and I appreciate the way that he said that I don't believe that instead of saying that it's not true. He said I don't believe that.
How dare you think for yourself, Mont? This is a group
I think
thing.
that a
okay?
lot of times when we speak about things like this, we go so daggone absolute, and we say it's just this or it's not just this, and it leaves room for what Minister. What's your name? I want to make sure I
you just call me Chris. You ain't gotta call me no minister.
Bless you. I just want to address you properly. I wanted to call you Chris. But like what Chris was saying, like clickbait. And what Willie also states, like there comes a time when you get to a point where you got to have some sort of foundation, and I believe that broken clocks are right twice a day. I think that he made 2 valid points. I also think that slow clocks are right a little bit more. You might get 3 or 4 good points at it, but it takes a lot of understanding, a lot of condition, and a lot of reasoning. It may not come from a woman. For all people's situation, it's not a woman. I can guarantee you that if you look at it and you take a step back as men, and I don't always speak for all men, but when we take a step back, we can always put a woman in the light and say, if it weren't for, a praying grandmother, or if it wasn't for a praying mother, or that one relationship that said, you know what, I love you so much that I got to let you be. So we can consider all that, but at the end of the day, I think that it's very dangerous for people to completely describe that as either one way or no way. And if we don't consider that, each different piece allows us to become a whole being, then we're going to run into, this situations like this where you're using your ego when there's a good message to be heard from it, and I just think that that's what makes the broken clock, or kind of like a slow clock in that method.
Here's what I got from this dude here, and I think this is what makes me think this is a little bit of clickbait. Like, I don't think he was trying to be just outrageous to be outrageous, but there is he's trying to get some views and some clicks here. I got the impression from him that he's talking about men that, like, it's men who are just sort of bumbling idiots, and all of a sudden they upgrade because they see some type of woman. We're not talking about like you can be in a really good place, but you see a woman you want and figure, oh crap, I need to step up a little bit. But there's some things I might need to address about myself to be better. There's nothing wrong with that. But I just didn't the tone and how this was presented made it seem like this dude was laying in the gutter, homeless and broken. And then all of a woman walked by and he said, "I need to get my life together." That didn't happen. I have met women. I was like, "Oh shit!" Like this, I need to keep
Not in the
I need to
gutter.
just a little bit. Like I need to maybe some things about myself I need to examine. No different when you ever go to church and you hear a message from the pastor, you go home and you work on some things. Like, it's life, man. Like I don't think like the way he kind of put this out here as if like this dude was just a dumpster fire. And this woman walked by, and then he decided to change his life. Like that
I'm gonna play it back again because Mom was saying maybe he was on and out, and I want to hear it again too. In the
I don't know if
context
I want to hear it again, but
what you guys were saying. Okay.
As we hear on social media that a man will change for the right woman. And I don't believe that. I feel like a lot of good women get done wrong because us as men don't deal with the trauma from our childhood.
So I want to pause it right there. What I took from it is this guy's with first woman. He's hoeing around. He's doing whatever. Whoop de whoop. He finally gets with the fourth girl. He actually values her and is scared to lose her. And so he cleans up his act. That's how I took it. Not like he's struggling in life. It's more of a context where he's changing into being a more desirable man for women. But let it continue.
We don't deal with the trauma from our past relationships. We don't outgrow the mindset that was instilled in us, or a majority of us, when we were younger. A man will change when he's ready to become a good man. Because even when I look at our relationship, you have always been the right woman. You have always been a good woman. But in the beginning, I was blinded by my immaturity that I couldn't see everything that you brought to the table. And it wasn't until I was ready to become a better man, until I was ready to change my way of thinking, that I saw you for the woman that you are. So it's not that men will change for the right woman. Is when a man is ready to become the right man, then he will make the changes. Because there are a lot of men who missed out on good women because they wasn't mature enough to recognize what that woman brought to the table.
So one of the narratives is if you're a certain way, a guy will act this way. And then for other people, it's like a dog is a dog is a dog. He has to feel like he values whatever. And so what he's saying is he was with, which I don't know if it's his wife or girlfriend, she's been an amazing woman who deserved that change, but it wasn't until he matured and was ready to take his life to the next level. That's what I took from it.
Yep. Derek Jackson light. All right.
I think I agree with him, and I maybe I can get your perspective, like, because I feel like I'm a much more mature person now. Not even I'm mature, but like I've done some things in the past where like people tell me I did it, and I'm like, I don't remember that. For example, right? I have 3 kids, but one of them I found out was my kid, right? So when I found out that one of my kids was my kid with a DNA test and all that type of stuff, right? The woman, my daughter's mom, who I was with at the time, she told me that I told her that the day after Mother's Day, and that bothered her. And I'm like, I told you that day after Mother's Day? And she like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, that bothers you? She like, yeah. And I'm like, damn, I don't remember that.
That you told her what?
I told her that I found out that I had another child the day after.
Oh.
And she said that was something that bothered her, but like I don't remember doing that, but I do remember telling her, and I do remember being unfazed. I'm like, damn, I was that out of it. Like I was that like just didn't care. That I, even though that baby was made before I met her, but it's like
the sensitivity.
Yeah, I just was out of it. I don't know where I was. And
it's called cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, I was completely unfazed. We're all
human.
Yeah. And like all my past relations, like all of my past, the women that I've been with, I was just unfazed by everything. Everything I was unfazed. So I don't know if this plays a part in what he's talking about, but I'm a much more intuitive guy now. Especially, I'm much more in tune with the woman I'm with. But she's the only woman that I've actually chosen to commit to, and I told like, hey, I want to do this with you. Like, this is what I want. So I don't know if that play a part, but also like when I take the way I'm taking what he's saying is like I'm not changing for a woman necessarily. Like me and my girlfriend broke up today. I'm not the next woman, same treatment. Everything is the same. No, I'm the same guy, same person. I didn't change for her. This is who I am. And it's not changing unless I grow. I'll grow and continue to grow. But I'm not going to go back to anything. This is my character. This is who I am. I don't know. I don't see what he's saying is like kind of like simping or just kind of trying to get women. I it makes sense to me, and maybe I don't know. I don't see it that way.
Yeah, and I
Let's
don't
be
I
honest.
don't even think that he's saying that to get women. However, is for me and to your point, what you're saying is that people's experiences when you begin to speak on experience versus um what you hear and what you believe to be true, you start to manifest a different conversation. And when you're speaking about, okay, these are experience differences between, oh, I feel like men should be this, or I feel like men are qualified as this, when you haven't rightfully gone through experience, then that leaves a lot of room for suggestion.
Yeah,
And to your point, experience, not to say is the most prominent teacher, but we can always agree as men, certain principles, that experience often is the best teacher.
yeah,
We see it, we make sure that either we can make a choice, am I going to do it or am I not going to do it? A lot of men don't get that, they don't get that opportunity because they're sheltered from experience.
yeah.
So again, hats off to you. Don't ever shallow your experiences with your youth. That's all I want to share with you. That's all.
Oh,
So, I think, Ma is your name, right? 31.
yeah, yeah.
So
31.
I think it's very possible for you, and I got 2 points, and I'm gonna end it. I think you just listening to you, you probably were the type of person that valued personal development, right? You probably read books, stuff like that, and so your growth from where you were to where you were before to where you were now is by a, is by and large partially, in my opinion, probably because of that's who you were before her, and she just helped accelerate it, right? That's just what I think about you. You from what I just heard you say, like she helped accelerate who you were, and you became more of what you were already were. But that's probably because you value personal development. That's just one. Two, what I realize is about guys who are really, really wildly popular, like the Ace Metaphors, the Derek Jacksons, I think and I've never listened to this guy before. I don't even know who he is. What I've learned with particularly dating and relationship advice on social media, people are generally speaking from their personal experiences and they're talking about themselves. They just
Exactly.
pawn it off as wide casting information.
Thank you.
And so when you play a clip like this, or you play an Ace Metaphor, you play a Derek Jackson, you play one of those, men need to do this, and they're just talking about themselves and the things that they've experienced, and they're telling on themselves, but they're not actually telling on themselves.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's what Derek was doing. He was straight up like, "This is what
yes,
men would do." It was literally
Listen,
doing
No, the hell we
exactly.
wouldn't.
listen. From
No,
one
he was just
aspect,
describing last night. You know what I'm
from
saying? And I
no,
do
we
think,
wouldn't.
you know what I'm
That's
saying?
what
And that's
you would
and
do.
you're exactly right. Like rather than saying like personal accountability and looking in the mirror is huge. When you just realize there's just some things you need to be better about yourself, that's what's up. But what people do, and everybody does it, women do, all men do, know that sorry so and so's that you choose do this. You're making bad decisions. I tell you, your life changes exponentially when you accept responsibility for your actions and what you did, even in defeat. You know what I mean? Or if you would just accept responsibility. I tell you, one of the most powerful things, I went through a divorce, went through therapy. I called my ex afterwards and apologized for the things I did. I didn't realize it. Like but rather than pointing out all women do this and trying to point that on everybody else, it was the internal personal development that took me to the next level. And I think a lot of guys, I think he nailed it, come on here talking about things that they have done, they are doing, like Derek Jackson, and try to push that off as some type of profound statement. Like, and I'm not saying this, brother, that might not have been his intention, but when I heard him speak, I saw Derek Jackson light. It just felt in that.
It is an itch.
It's like,
you know what I mean?
To rub me the wrong way. Cause I have heard guys talk about, I wasn't doing what I needed to do. I stepped my game up. I got better. Okay, cool. I could rock with that. But this gave this hint of, I'm not really going to own it. You were always the right woman. And I just didn't realize it. Man, man.
Yeah, it gives me that knight in shining armor.
Yeah, dog.
Wait, what bothers you about him saying you were...
This cousin stuff. Is there like a...
Because to me, I took it as he's giving her flowers in the sense that she wasn't undeserving, because the premise was, will you do something for the right person? And what he's saying is, had I been a different person, you would have gotten this from out the gate because you've always deserved it. That's how I took it.
But you're not a different person. We're shaped and ripened by our experiences. And go ahead,
meaning he would have given her a different experience. He would have given her a different version of himself.
So I believe the quote from Jay-Z's song, you was who you was before you got here. You could try to change, but that's just the top layer. Anything you add on top, that's just icing on top. It's cool, but you was who you was. Now you can change. You like deep down, if you ask anybody who know me, they'll tell you I'm a nigga to the core and I'm an asshole. And that's to the core, way down deep to the bottom. But once I learned that, hey, that don't really work, Chris. That's not gonna make you successful in business.
Right.
You got to learn how to add some attributes on top. So do I have that in me? Yeah.
Yes.
But I was that before. So if I'm nice, if I'm kind, if I'm patient, if I'm loving, I have that. And sometimes it takes a person to kind of prick your finger so it can bleed to bring those things out. Sometimes it does. And so to say that a man won't change for the right. No, sometimes it takes the right person. Because here's the thing. I didn't become, and this is not a man to a woman, but I didn't become who I am today because I decided to do it on my own. My mentor told me some years ago, hey, you need to be better. You need to do this. You need to read here. It takes people. We are not born alone, and we won't die alone. So it takes people to help you become who you are.
So I was gonna say, so your pushback is that he's saying he just on his own decided to make these changes.
I think it was always there. I think sometimes, like I said, it just takes something, and typically, and I don't know if this is true, but from the men that I've met, the men that I've encountered with, and me personally, in order for me to become who I am today, I had to experience a traumatic event.
Same.
And my traumatic events
absolutely
was my divorce. Mm-hmm. That is what caused me to wake up and be like, whoa.
Same. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's true across the board, but I can say for those that I've interacted with and learned from, that is what happened to get the change to start. So
Aisha has a brilliant idea. I'm in a cussing jar.
Aisha, ain't nobody asked you.
I want
to ask, like, who didn't know that Derek Jackson was full of shit the first time they saw his wife?
He said that $5.
She was the right woman.
You know, oddly, the first time I saw her, she was okay, and then every time after that, she looked crazy.
Hey, man, and it
exactly
wasn't until that last interview with the
bonnet of salvation, helmet of salvation,
the helmet of salvation with a bonnet.
You talking about when they were sitting down and he was holding her arm?
And they called it the helmet of salvation because she had the bonnet on.
Yeah, she's the definition of a woman.
After seeing her, I kind of was like, oh, I'm not mad at him.
So,
she changed after she got divorced.
You got to see the most recent interview. You like,
she went from matronly to like,
but it makes you wonder, was she?
She did the same thing women do when they break up. They glow up. That's like women wait till they break up till they want to look their best.
Wait a minute, she changed. Wait a minute.
Hey man, you got to research it, man. Hey,
go to she did an interview on Dear Future Wifey podcast.
That's what it is. That's what it is. She got a whole book.
So my boy Latiris interviewed her before he interviewed Derek, and when she went on Latiris' show, I was like,
"Who?"
I know. I had to text him. I was like,
Listen, you can't victimize the red bottom.
You can't
That's
see
all
it.
I'm saying. It's hard.
I'm sorry. Let me. Is this it? Hold on. Let me turn this.
That's the show. That's the show.
That's her.
You could tell by the background. You ain't even gotta change your lighting. Okay. I know Latiris' show.
Yo, man. And then it's wild. After you watch her show, go ahead and watch the old boy Derek Jackson show. It's like a whole different symphony you hear, and it's like, the heck, y'all made a lot of money on our feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. It's like I'm torn on because it's like you can't hate the player, right? You gotta hate the game, So it's like Derek Jackson probably and could have made a lot of money. Like he probably made millions and millions and millions off of these women. And sometimes it's like the same thing with like. Who's that?
Women are big spenders and emotional spenders.
It's like the same thing with like simps and tricks. It's like can you blame a woman for taking their money? It's like, can we really blame them for like, a guy leading with his wallets and she take all of that? Like to some degree, women be asking for people to lie to them. Like not all of them, of course, but like the overall sentiment. Like you tell them something wrong on and they fight you on it, and they just gravitate towards whatever echo chamber. So it's like
ears. Same
yeah. So it's like if somebody like, all right, I'm gonna take all your money. Like I'm all right. I'll say what you want. I'll be rich and say what you want if that's what you want. It's like,
there
can
are
you
a couple
blame them?
guys in the industry who are doing that? They'll be like, yes, Queen. I call Queen. Yes, Queen. You can do no wrong.
You said a couple.
It's like the Ace Metaphor guy. Like I don't know.
I wasn't gonna say it.
Don't.
You're not gonna do that.
No, I don't know him personally, but his persona rubs me the wrong way.
His whole platform is ass. I'll say it. Everything that come out that man's mouth
right now. There is some. I want to
really.
So there is some tonight's conversation is probably going to be ended. Just so y'all know.
Tonight's conversation, you gotta look it up. It got bad, and he's at the center of that.
And I want to tell y'all, I know Trill personally, but see, I'm not a messy nigga, right? So I wanted to call and be like, "Yo, what's really popping?" Because he on the show, but
I know all of them, and I'm like, I am not going. Well, let me not.
I'm missing something.
I was on that show.
I don't know who the hell Ace Metaphor is, and I don't know.
I'm gonna look up all the messy stuff because I want to check it out.
Drop in the little chat.
My girl
I have never.
Somebody sent me the video of Keita Rose getting ready to drop all the tea. Now, don't get it twisted with Kitty.
I'm gonna just turn my camera off right now.
I'm saying put it in the chat. So I don't know what we're talking about here. I'm lost.
No, it's a show tonight's conversation and the persona.
Yeah, it's something going down, like
and being able to have the conversations that much like we're having now.
Come on,
is the
fellas,
equity of men and women.
We're not ladies. Come on, let's just put it out here. Come on now.
But here's the thing: there's women on there that really have a sound, reasonable mind when they're articulating certain points. So here's what it comes down to: what's done in the dark. Inevitably. So what ended up happening, and I'm going to paraphrase and not put any business out. Somebody owes somebody money, and as a result of owing somebody money, they allow certain things to be had. And as a result of not paying their debt, the person that had all information said, I got you, and put all the information out. Now, chronologically, is it all in the same present time? No. But the matters of fact are what they are.
If I could ask you, what is the type of incriminating information that has been put out there?
Infidelity, leaked addresses,
infidelity in current relationships,
in current marriages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right.
And even if it is incriminating, the fact is when you sign an NDA, and if people aren't paying attention to who and what they're signing, and they're not presenting a counter document to make sure that you're being taken care of, you run into some legal problems, especially when somebody tries to monetize off of your principles and your ideologies, which is what Ace Metaphor tried to do. When people are having viewpoints and they're sharing ideas, and all you're doing is being the animated character that signifies, like if Willie says something and I'm like, and and then as a result, we monetize off of that.
Yeah.
You know, and then all of a sudden, when the truth comes to light, you are exactly what he was speaking out against.
Yeah.
Damn the money, motherfucker. Damn, sorry, Yonci, even though you're not here, I'm here. Darn the money. We're talking about principle and ethic here. And a lot of these women, and I just told a young lady, they've evolved. These women have evolved to a sense to where we have to approach them now. You know, you may not have this issue. I've suffered from this issue where I left the relationship phase and the dating phase and went about my growth in business, came back, and women were on a different echelon than I thought them to be on. And thank God for COVID, because I was able to be like, you know what? System formula implementation, let's get this done real quick. You know, and as a result, I was able to establish myself in who I am today. Not many men do that. They create on piggybacking off of a Kevin Samuels, piggybacking off of a Derek Jackson, and then not understanding. And even dare we say some of these fragile leaders that we have in society today, that they piggyback and never had that solid grasp of who we are as men and as instruments. So that's why it's easy for me to identify with Willie. Although I don't agree with how he says things, I understand why he says it. Why it's easy for me to understand what you're saying, although I may not identify because I'm in a different generation. I understand what work ethic is. People like the Ace Metaphors of the world who don't put in the and it may look like it's put in work. He didn't put in no work. You know, and it's not to say that he's wrong for capitalizing, but now we're looking at the truth of matter here, and we now have to discuss the truth of matter of why it happens, whether they're going to tell the truth or whether they're not. Do I care? No. Am I sad? Yeah, because I rocked with that show. I know people that know them. I was able to talk to them. But at the end of the day, how is it impacting your character and integrity as a man? Centerfold, tried and true. Money aside, who are you? That's why it's important to me.
I guess I need to go watch something. I don't know these folks.
I don't know. I never met the man, so I can never, because I'm very careful with my words, so I can never say anything bad about him. But I will speak on his persona on the internet, and that's what rubs me the wrong way. I don't know him personally. I just know his persona and his videos. They rub me the wrong way, and I don't like them.
Yep,
but
they come off very Derek Jackson-ish.
Yeah, they come off like he just,
And I'm like how you shitting on men on a regular basis? I'm sorry, you're not supposed to cuss. How you peeing on my head and telling me it's raining every time? Like,
for the record, I know most of these people. I am staying out of it.
You're doing great. You're doing great,
conversation, and
the only people I've seen on that show that are respectable that I just automatically knew weren't full of shit, and their platforms were gonna go to shit the way that most black businesses do, because there's always some sort of scandal or bullshit behind it, was Kitty, Trip, and Yonci, and they've had a plethora of other people on that show, and look at where every one of them is.
Well, make sure you check out my partner AC Trill. He's with Cruise Season. His podcast.
He has
the charts.
He's pretty dope.
He married. He's solid, like 100%. I don't know nobody else. I don't claim to nobody else. The person that I do know, the person that I know privately and publicly, AC is the same privately and publicly, and that's all I can say. But I can tell when you are putting on, and you don't like. I just don't like when you just dog men as if men ain't shit. Men ain't like, and won't ever be like that. Don't sit right with me.
I don't like it when they dog men, and then you look at their men, and it's like, oh, well.
He's talking about a dude dogging.
What I'm saying,
so I don't like it when dudes dog men, but then you don't make it evenly across the board where everybody needs to be accountable.
Well, they can't do that because that's their target audience. They're making money off of it.
I know.
And
that's why I say it comes out very Derek
Jackson-ish. Right.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying that that's who he is as a person. I don't know him. I'm just saying how it comes off.
I don't separate people's personas and like that who they actually are. I think that's
you
unfair.
was who you was before you got
There's way
here.
too much grace that's being afforded to people like these guys because they're all fake. They've all the snake oil salesman. They've got on here and say, okay, well, hey, I'm going to monetize telling women what they want to hear because by doing so, it's going to make me money and it's going to get me fans. I'm going to be able to cheat on my wife and then pay people not to tell on me. But now I'm getting blackmailed, so I'm about to lose my whole platform. Like, I don't feel bad for any of those people. I think everything that he's got coming should come to him in spades, and I hope that his children see it.
I will say this. There's a lot of conversation that's happening publicly, and there are a lot of personal lives that are being affected. And I can say from a neutral standpoint, as somebody who has had someone come for me totally erroneously, it is stressful. Like, I was crying behind the scenes. I was stressed out. I couldn't focus on work. It was a lot. And that was only with my platform with, that person had like 40,000 followers and that lasted like a couple of days. So I will just say, as somebody who is, someone who's been on the show, I forget what the term I was trying to say, like, not a graduate, but whatever. Alumni, thank you. I couldn't think of that word. My heart is that whatever's going on gets dealt with quickly because I almost kind of feel like family is in the press and it's very uncomfortable to watch.
I'm sure.
And even when I'm a believer in what's right, but at the same time, I also believe a little bit in grace. And, I think that everybody has times where they fall. And so I just wouldn't want to be ripped apart like of people on the side of the road. And I'm not talking about any one particular, I'm not going to speak to any one particular person, but I will just say that in general, I have seen people be very gleeful in trying to bring someone down. And all I tried to put myself in that situation and say, if I had a fall, if I messed up, if I did something, I would not want to be fodder for like podcasts and all that stuff. So I feel people who are going through it right now.
I think I think it is a part of the game, and I do think the best way to go about things like this is to be completely honest about who you are when you're giving your story online and when you have a community. It's so that everybody know who you are. It's nothing to find out. If I cheated on my girl before, I cheated on my girl before.
Yep.
And I learned from it, and I'm giving you the lesson now, and I'm telling you what I've experienced and what I've learned. Like, I don't know the man. I don't know. All of these to me are just allegations right now because I don't know anything about the situation. I'm just hearing people talk, so it's all an allegation to me. But I do think that if they are true, because I like from one perspective, I understand like just selling people what they want, but at the same time, I do understand that you literally are selling people something that they're going to try and take and use in their personal lives. And some of these women may never get married because they believe what you were saying. Some of these women may never, have close relationships with people who they might have stopped being friends with certain people, or
it's a huge responsibility.
Yeah, like the people with the Kamala and the Trump thing, and people not friends with their own family over stupid stuff, like because other people are telling them something, and then you see Obama hanging out with the guy, or like just being all buddy with him. I can understand how that can make somebody feel a little bit weird. Like, I don't even talk to my brother no more, and you can
right. To your point, you're saying people are basing their lives. I got a couple messages today because I was hitting people up about the database. And when we had started it last year, some people are now in relationships. And so a bunch of people were replying and saying, oh, you know what? I don't need to be on anymore. I found love and I'm just so grateful for what you did. And it was this crazy moment where I'm like, wow, something that I was able to share severely impacted this person's life for the better in this situation. So when you were saying that, there's such a responsibility. If I'm giving incorrect information and someone is basing their life off of that and they're saying things, let's say if I'm just telling women what they want to hear and now they're being super unattractive to men and now they're alone, that's on me. And so it's a big responsibility to have a platform. And I know I joke a lot, about like keeping people's names out my mouth and all this stuff, but there's a reason for that. It's like, if you position yourself as better than someone, you position yourself as a know-it-all, that is the first thing people want to do. Is if they see any weakness, they want to tear you down, And so, like I said, even if I was in the wrong, I would want a little bit of grace, because that's a lot to open when people have to close their pages, people are having to change their addresses. When people, I mean, it's like it's next level.
I mean, and to your point, Yancy, that's what I agree with what the gentleman was saying. It's a level of vulnerability that allows for credibility. When you're able to say, "Hey, I'm human too," and it's not about being guilty. Like, folks will be like, well, who do you think you are to exercise this information or this understanding? Well, I'm like, well, this is a guy that's just happens to been through some experiences in life, traveled through experiences, and happened to make it to have this conversation. Now, that's the part that I think is a separation between the leader of that group and that assembly and the rest of the people. I mean, I think a lot of compassion for me goes to the panel, that their lives were very vulnerable. Their lives were very honest about where they were coming from. However, like we're saying, when you're starting to cast aspersion, in order for what? What's the gain in all this? What are you profiting? And I've always said, when us folk men, when we start to throw money in front of what moral principle are, immediately I'm like, what are you hiding? You're
Yeah.
hiding something.
And look
And
at
it's
the
only a
private
matter
chat,
of
by
time.
the way, for context, William. Just
Mhm.
FYI.
Oh boy.
But you said something that I think was important. You
Yo,
talked,
yes, she did.
yeah, when you give your
I had Yancy, after this, I'm gonna send you a couple videos. It
I don't
it 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 got a little rough.
yeah, I don't
It
know
got a
these
little
folks.
rough, man. And it's and my thoughts, and people are going to go live, they're going to say, and I think probably the best exit, probably the exit of 2025, has to go to Trip Fontaine. He was in the smoke, he saw the smoke, and he said, let me go ahead and be out of here,
Who that?
y'all
Who
go
Trip
ahead.
Fontaine? That's the guy.
Tall guy,
Trip is the one with the beard,
the
with the
poet.
Sunni, and he got the glasses, he got the beanie. Look
Interesting.
up Tripp Fontaine.
Let me
But
find him.
he saw the smoke, and he was like, you know what? I'm building my platform now. It's time to. Didn't even put any information. He said, you know what? Peaceful departure. Let me do what I
A
got to
graceful
do.
bow out.
And some people, don't know how to have the grace that's given unto them. Because nobody knew what was going on,
At all.
and unfortunately, it got so bad, and pride and ego got put in the way, to where everybody's business is now being put out that is not lining up to what the facts of matter is, or are. The matter is, you're obligated to pay your people, and when you don't pay your people, people get hungry, and when people get hungry, people get really, really frustrated, and they need somebody and something to blame. And the only universal thing that went across that conversation amongst all of them is that they were missing a few checks, but somebody
Oh,
was
I see
really
him now.
monitoring. You see what I'm saying?
I see the guy now. I know you're talking about.
But you can't keep making excuses, and you can't keep reasoning, and you can't keep, you know, over poeticizing what the facts of matter are. They only gonna take it but so long. Everybody's not gonna respond and react the same.
Not everyone doing their research. I see everyone on the
It's the
panel.
it's
I'm
the
not
same
looking.
thing
I
that
just
happens anytime you put a bunch of black content creators in a space where one person's supposed to pay them. It's always a money problem, and this is one of the few things
I,
that you have to credit Anton Daniels for. That
this is
man
just a
has no
man
dirt
minding
on
his
his name as
business,
far
y'all.
as paying his talent. He's got, I'm friends with someone who is not fond of him, and he's one of my closer friends. He's a huge creator. But one thing you can't say about him is that that man has played with nobody's money. You could just like, maybe it's just me because I've dealt with a lot of, we'll just say, bad people who do bad business. But you just know when you see him, like, no,
Yeah.
no, not no, like, and you just sit back and wait. Like, I got a post from maybe a year, 2, 3 years ago right when they first were getting big, and I'm like, this ain't gonna last. Because you look at everybody on the show, and one thing I know for certain to be true is that bullshit people hang out with bullshit people. And I've seen so many things that qualify as bullshit from that crew of people. With him being at the head, I'm cool. Like the way they did the no fugazi guy. He deserves it. Can't take anything from him.
Oh, that
He
was
deserves
beautiful,
everything.
wasn't it? Wasn't it
Because he's
beautiful?
been talking bad about black women and single moms when he's dating a funny shaped non-black woman who's also a single mother. So he gets
Stop
everything
playing,
he gets.
Yonci. We not.
She looked like an old goose. No.
The way that they
Yonci
set him up
playing
for this
this.
show
Like,
is trash.
wait a minute. It's like this. What am I listening to?
The guy Fugazi. You gotta look up Fugazi.
No, I'm talking about this. Is this what we're listening to? His music or something?
No, he's a
I'm Lord. I don't know what's happening.
no,
here.
he's a rhetorical.
No, there's.
I'm dying.
No, Yonci, check your bank account. I sent the money before 11.
What? I'm looking. It literally came in at.
I said it's 10:59 type.
Okay. See, I
Okay, look. Maybe I ain't been staying on to the end late. Okay, now I know. This is like the like the warm up. It's like turning the lights on at the club. This is what this is. Like, okay, we get ready to go home.
I knew y'all figured out. Dang, really? You gonna put a whole hour on the clock, not a 10-minute?
Yo, look, we wasted half the time talking about this dude here in this video and these people. I don't know. Like,
but for real, this is what we deal with in society, man. Like, and I prefer to talk about it so that, you know, when we leave at least this platform, if nothing else, whether objection or whether agreement, there's a seed planted, man. Like there's some brittle. Yonci, is there really like a cash pot? Can we donate like 25 cents per cuss word?
Oh, let's do it.
Like 25 cents. I ain't nobody doing $5. I got a lot of vocab with like past participles of cuss words. But there's a lot of like nonsense going on as far as like what is proclaimed to be what I take pride in. And when you start to see like the truth of matter, and then all of a sudden it's all about this and not about fundamental and characteristic principles. I look at my grandfather, you know, that scowl that, you know, old people make when they face sag to the floor and they just look at you. And I don't want that. Like, not for our community, man. And like seeing a lot of these podcasters and content creators and dare I say men, they go out there and they're like, oh, this is how we should be, and men, blah. It's offensive as hell, man. Not when I'm like, I don't live like that. Like, I don't subscribe to that. I'm not going to degrade black women in order to exalt anybody. I'm not going to degrade anybody to exalt anybody. I'm going to be who I am. So I just think that it's necessary to have these examples to remind us, like, okay, let's be very steadfast and make sure that if I take a rest, I'm still 10 toes down in my rest. Like, y'all not going to, you know, misinterpret what it is that we stand for.
I want to say this too, and I was thinking about this earlier today, just because, you know, I scroll through and try to stay up on what's being talked about and things like that. And I think that there is like a stance that some content creators take, which comes across as holier than thou. Like, I'm now on the mountaintop and I'll teach all you peasants what I've learned. Or it's like the angry, I see a lot of women who speak on behalf of men. So they get all the men who are like, yeah, but they do it by putting down women. Like one lady, she's like, you stupid. And she's literally slapping the camera and stuff like that. And I just feel like it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be, because I even had to change my style because I was very like smart, not smart mouth, but like I have a dry sense of humor. So I would try to be like funny with it. But somebody said, and it only took one to make a difference. Somebody said that it didn't resonate as funny. It was like, it's too soon to laugh. You know how people are like too soon if you make a joke or whatever. So for me, I was so removed from a lot of these bad behaviors that I was able to kind of say it in a lighthearted way. But this woman was like, it doesn't come across that way. And I was like, whoa. And it really hurt because my goal is to help women. And so if I'm turning somebody off in my style, that's nothing to change my style so that they can palate it more. But I just think that people are bombarded so much with this is why men suck, this is why women suck, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong. And Mott made a point that I totally agree with, where he was saying, oh, I don't agree with that, as opposed to saying it's wrong. And that's one of the fundamental things to me in conversation. Like, it's different if we're talking about what are the elements that make up hydrogen. Okay, there's 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. Like, that's not opinion. But other things, you know, you might say that beanie is the worst beanie I've ever seen. Someone else might say that's the most fly beanie I've ever seen. Where can I buy one? And so sometimes I think when people state their opinion as though it is fact, it's such a polarizing thing, as opposed to just like, hey, this is my perspective. This is what I've experienced. This is what I've heard. And hey, if you have a different take, let's talk about it. But there's just so much aggressive style. So many people with aggressive styles out there. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's draining to your psyche. It can be draining to your psyche. Are y'all ready for a fresh video?
Yes.
Let's go.
Let me peel the wrapper off. It's fresh. Y'all said that really excitedly.
Yeah, something else. Yeah.
Okay, this one's a little softer side of Sears, and just ignore the fluff because there's a lot of
somebody is in a happier relationship. And this goes back. Here's how you know somebody is in a happy relationship. And this goes back to the French author Michel de Montaigne, who, by the way, once came up with this great line where he says, "He who fears that he shall suffer is already suffering from what he fears." But anyway, here's his simple observation about love. He writes, "A happy relationship, if such a thing exists, is one that resembles friendship more closely than it does love." And what he meant is that love is fine, but friendship is better. In fact, true love is when it feels like you are in love with your best friend. It is friendship that has caught fire, as it were. And the poet Rilke once observed that true love as friendship is therefore when you become the guardians of each other's solitude, what he characterized as a harmonious living side by side. You respect each other, you're honest, you take care with each other, but you also just like being alone together and not doing anything special. True love is when it feels like you are in love with your best friend.
So, what do we feel? Do we agree with that statement?
I like what he said.
Feels like you're in love with your best friend.
I like what he said. I love what he said, actually.
I do too.
I make that point a lot about like I don't have to be doing something like with you, and I make that point about women a lot. Of course, not all women, but I think a lot of women are like think that they have to go out somewhere, or you know, they got to be somewhere. And I would hate to be in a relationship with somebody who felt like they could fall out of love with me because of boredom. Because you're bored, you want to go outside, and we don't go outside enough and be around other people. Like I'm happy and content on this couch right here because I'm with you, and we can do this every night. And I understand that you know.
I used to have to be outside.
Yeah, I understand that. Like sometimes people want to get out. I get it. You know, you need to get out the house, but at the same time, I just be wary of people who can get bored with like just kind of like being with themselves and with you. So
yeah, I agree. Even the part about you said being with themselves, like I have learned to love my own company. I used to be like, it used to felt like a punishment. If somebody said the weekend's coming and you're not going to see any friends, you're not going to go anywhere, I'd have been like, oh my, I would have had almost anxiety about that upcoming weekend. Now I'm like, yes, I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to see anybody. I totally agree.
I think it's the same thing though. And maybe we can like kind of investigate this, but I think it's the same thing when it comes to like your birthday and like people who feel like I was alone on my birthday and they go into like a little depression or something like that. And you think about it, most men don't care. Like the birthday gives you no validation. The birthday doesn't really, it says nothing about me. It's not my identity.
My brother wants to be left alone on his birthday. He's like, that's my gift. Leave me alone.
I'll be forgetting when it's my birthday. Sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, it's my birthday today."
Yo, I do too. I forget. I be forgetting, man.
That's
not real. Like it's not a real
thing.
thing. Like it's just something that we, you know.
My mom made a big deal about it, so I think that's why The older I get and the less happens on my birthday, it does take away. I don't have any expectations as much as I did, but my mom made me feel so loved, so special. Yeah, like she had a birthday song she sang. We got to pick the shape and the style of the cake that she made from scratch, and like I just felt like it was magic. It was bigger than Christmas. And so when I got older and nobody was doing razzle dazzle, I was like,
I think most men just mature out of that pretty quickly. Like then they just realize it doesn't mean anything. It's not helping me do anything. It's not helping me get further. Like the second that you realize, like, yo, I gotta spend my own money to like make this happen. It's
that's
like,
now that's rough.
This don't make sense.
Man,
like,
listen.
I gotta buy a new outfit because I want to go out
for what?
Like with y'all, and I gotta get clothes, and then I gotta pay to go out, and then I gotta do all this. It's like, yo, this I'm not doing this.
Only to show y'all I'm who y'all think I am. This is the reason why y'all here. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it's
Mom,
like
you an old soul in your 30s.
I don't like Valentine's Day. Like I like the idea of it, but like everybody's doing something on Valentine's Day, and I hate that because my girl know that I hate waiting in line. I hate crowded stuff.
I don't like being out on Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
but I like celebrating.
Yeah, I like celebrating. I don't like being out on Valentine's Day.
I love celebrating.
Yeah, I like celebrating it. But I'm not trying to leave the house on that day and go out to dinner or like.
Yeah, I'll literally pick a different day. I'll be like, okay, it's Valentine's Day, but we're gonna pick a random Tuesday, or it's gonna be our own thing. Like I don't like being in the crowd and the herd and like, and I feel obligated because today I just want to have one day where it's the Super Bowl of love and we just celebrate.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that.
I waited a long time in a relationship. I'm gonna celebrate this doggone it. Just say I waited a long time being a healthy.
What about that argument that people say, about like, hey, let's pick our own day? How you feel about that?
Oh, I'm down with that.
Yo, let's do it.
Yeah. So to me, it's like I think when you're younger, you get caught up in the I want to show off what I got. Oh, what did you do for Valentine's Day? But to me, it's just the idea of there being one day where it's like exceptional romance. I think most men are not that romantic. And with women, a lot of women, if you press them for what does romance look like, they can only list off like 2 or 3 things. And then after that, they're kind of like, So if they actually had to like continuously do romantic things, like you can only put so many romantic flowers. I mean, if you have a crazy budget, yes, you can do a lot more. You can hire a singer to come in. But if you're a normal person on a normal budget, like you better sweep up those fake roses and put them in a baggie and use them again. But
man, it's like no, don't do that. That don't y'all do that.
I literally have artificial rose petals, and I'll be like,
you can buy the real ones from Produce Junction.
You said what?
You can buy the real ones from Produce Junction. They cheap.
Hey, Produce Junction.
But my thing is, I have found that romance to me, yes, while those things are really sweet, romance could just be like just setting the tone. Like if we have a fireplace, so it's like if he were to turn the fireplace on, cue some music, get me my little blanket together and pick a movie, like that's sweet. Like you put any effort into doing something to make it comfortable. To me, romance is like making me feel comfortable and expressing how you feel intentionally, because I think we tend to take things for granted. Most people, I'm a little different. I'll be professing all day long. But most people don't sit there and like pour their heart out on how they feel about a person until it's like their birthday, unfortunately their funeral or whatever. So I think that's what makes it romantic, when someone's looking at you into your eyes and I just want you to know what you mean to me. And
I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, go ahead, fella.
I just
I'm
want to
sorry.
push back that she said just most men are romantic. I just do not agree with that sentiment.
Sorry, most men I've encountered are not naturally romantic and they struggle with it.
I think men are romantic and they do things for somebody they really care about and want to spend the time with. Like, so if your man not being romantic, he just don't like you that much.
Wait, can I ask you a question about that, Jacob?
What?
I would not disagree that men do things for women they care about. However, what I would classify as romantic, I would not call that. So for example, Monte, the way he shows love, he loves to buy gifts. Does he always get a gift? I think is great. That's, we'll leave that unspoken, but it's coming from his place. But he doesn't show it in a way that I would call traditionally romantic. I don't think I will ever come home to Rose Petals and Boys to Men playing.
Okay.
And
I guess that was my point. Like, I think romance looks different for a lot of people. My dad swear he was romantic, and we were like, Dad, you were not romantic, and he argued with our mom to Ponderosa whenever she wanted to go. You're like, yeah, Dad, you not romantic, dog. You just
We are so elder.
but I do think so for me, let's just everybody we make this personal. I love the I'm thinking of you, forget me nots. Let's do stuff together, spending time together. Like I love those moments. I live for those moments because that's what makes life special and unique. You make the life that you and your partner want. Like forget what everybody else doing. What do you guys want to do? What do you value? What do you appreciate about each other? And you do that and celebrate it to the day you die. Like that's the beauty of life and a relationship is what you guys decided to be, not what everybody else decides it to be. But I want to get back to this comment this guy made about your best friend because I like what I'm hearing from him. I like the message he's putting out there. I'm wondering, I'm circling back in my mind, have I ever had that experience? And I don't know. And so I'm interested to hear what others have to say about being with your best friend and all these other things. What I have found is, I've met a lot of interesting women, but none that describes what he's describing here. So I'm wondering, like, what others have to say about that. Like, I met some nice people. There's a lot of nice, like, folks around. I still get weird situations, but I don't know if I've had this experience here he's describing. So
could I?
And maybe I can elaborate
share?
too.
Is unique and is different when you find. If you find willingness and capacity, that's a different story. And like, we as men, and I'll never thank you, young man, for actually being an example of what we fight for out here. It's serious. But when it comes down to like willingness and capacity of being able to express as men, when it's uncomfortable as life to express, okay, I'm there's three things that I don't talk about in present moment. And I had to share with a friend of mine who am I interested in? Yes. Who I desire? Yes. And I've been interested in several people, a lot of people. Unlike some, I feel like I'm an attractive person. To
no, you
everybody.
Ugly. No, that was Paul's pretty.
Right. You see what happens? But I'm not doing that.
Don't take it up, Paul.
I
Paul's
feel
the pretty
I'm
one.
attractive to those who are attracted to me. Okay. And who I connect to is entirely different. What I had to learn is that, like, okay, am I available and why am I available? Am I unavailable and why am I unavailable? And I had to learn that, like, okay, if I'm dealing with a partner and they may not like something about me as an individual, it's not my responsibility to defend what they don't like about me. It's my job to say, okay, now what is it? Number two, can I change that thing? Or am I even willing to change that thing that they don't like? Like if a young woman said, I actually don't like you when you wear a baseball cap. Operation of Rebellion is going to be like, man, F you, I'm going to wear my baseball cap because I like ... And you're going to validate how you feel. However, if she were to say, and I'm not going to, you know what I mean? If she were to actually compliment you and say, hey, I actually enjoy certain attributes about you without the hat, it'll leave you less susceptible to wear the hat. You'll find reasons to groom yourself to say, hey, I don't really need this. So I think that more of us as men really need to take time and really listen to what our partners are saying. We at the same point can serve to do a better job with articulating what our needs are. Because again, does sex solve things? Sex solves a lot of stuff. Shoot, you see me trying, right? I'm trying. Sex solves a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, what it doesn't do is it doesn't provide reasoning and it doesn't provide purpose. And if you're in this relationship for reason and purpose, which what we decide to do after we proclaim that thing, then I really think and really incline men to really be willing to ask and answer those questions and be willing and more capable of expressing themselves beyond what they want, what they feel comfortable with. Introduce yourself to what scares you. You know what's scary is watching men talk about I don't eat vegetables.
Depends.
It's weird.
It depends.
It's weird, but there's so many of society that be like, oh, I ain't gonna do this. I ain't gonna do that. But do you understand that you have to do a lot of what you don't like in order to sustain? I guarantee you, Beeman ain't like waking up 5 o'clock in the morning to a trumpet with his arm above his head, making sure that he's ready positioned to do push-ups and stand and get beckoned to orders so that he can inevitably be able to give orders. I guarantee you, he ain't want to do that. He ain't like it, but inevitably it conditioned him to be able to exact a better understanding of teaching. And I think that our society of men, we lost that, man. I don't know where it went. We lost it. Thank God for some young examples, but we really lost that as a society.
Well, I guess Jacob, what I would say is so like for example, like my girl's my best friend, right? Now, if I wasn't intuitive, I probably wouldn't know that, right? I probably wouldn't think about that, but I think about things like, for example, if I get any news, I call her first, right? Any changes in my life, I call her first. We watch TV together. We watch our favorite shows together. Anything that she has, she calls me first. Anything that's going on, she called me. We talk about it. We talk to each other probably on the phone probably 5-6 times a day. You know, I go pick up the kids from work. I call her. You know, I'm just on the phone with her just randomly. Like, even though we live with each other, we still on the phone. We connected all day. You know, so when you think about it, like she's literally my best friend. There's nobody else that I would call if I'm going through something really. You know, I call her first before anybody. I know more about her than I know about anybody. She knows more about me. She knows the small things that I probably don't even know about myself, right? Things that only somebody who's very close to you and around you every day can see. So she's like literally like I just think that's technically my best friend. You know, it's just reality.
You ever had, I was going to say, because the same thing with Monte, we're going to gag everybody with these relationship conversations, but he's such a best friend that if I ever get upset at him, I can't be mad long because there's going to be a reel that I want to send him, or there's something so funny that I want to tell him. And it's like, I can't be mad and try to give you the silent treatment because you're my best friend. And I've even had times in an argument where I'm like, okay, I just want to vent to you as my best friend about my man. Like, can you just like switch hats right now? Because you're all one person.
Like, hold up, did you see this?
Yeah. This ninja. Yeah. But I think this is so special. And what's crazy is I didn't experience it until much later in dating. So I had gotten married and then, you know, got divorced and then started dating. And I met this guy who ended up being a pathological liar and a major cheater. But I learned from him the friendship aspect. I had always associated liking a guy and relationships with like crazy butterflies, just like intense butterflies. And it was this almost like nervousness, and you're always trying to be on your best behavior. With him, I found him attractive and everything like that. But for some reason, there was like this friendship. We would belly laugh. It was like, oh my God, I didn't realize I could have fun like a homie and also kiss someone. Like I didn't realize those two things went together. So that set the bar so high. And actually, I don't think I had anybody like that until Monte, where it was just like, we are so obnoxious. Like if there was a camera following us around, people would be like, you guys are really like this. We're just always laughing. We're always, I just saw something stupid, but I want to incriminate myself. We're always laughing. We're always doing dumb stuff. And I wish that for everyone. And,
absolutely,
you know, where you feel like you have the friendship. And when you have a friend, you genuinely care about their feelings.
Right.
I think that when you have all these other emotions or it's just major sex appeal, you don't really value them as a person, or they might not value you. Yeah. But if you have a genuine friendship, you're going to hurt if something offended them. Like if Mont were to be like, Yonci, you know, I know you didn't mean it, but you said something on the show that really bothered, like that would grieve me. And I'd want to fix it because we have a cool, internet.
You have space.
Yeah.
You have space. Yeah.
And so there wouldn't be any pride or whatever. So I think when you have that in your relationship, it helps you to get past the ego and the pride and the things that make you not want to apologize.
See, this is what makes me different. Like I have people that come over, I enjoy the time, we have a good time, it's cool. It might be hours, and then at a certain point, I'm like, man, it's getting late. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and go to bed. Hey, where you going?
You're over it.
So you never experienced this friendship we talking about. You never experienced it yet.
Not. He said somebody just come over. We doing nothing. We spend all day together. I get to a point, and I'm like, I can do that for a few hours, and it's like, yeah.
Even with your ex-wife.
Like, have you ever laughed
with your ex-wife? Have you felt that?
I gotta think about it. I don't know.
Like, I miss him if he goes to the corner store. That's how bad it is. Like, I'm like,
who I'm interested in
I will say this about my ex. She's a fantastic woman, smart. She has a lot of great qualities. And this is maybe my PSA for folks because she checked all the boxes. I mean, she was gorgeous.
My ex-husband checked all the boxes.
Smart. She's still doing well in her career. She's a fantastic mom. Like, she's doing the greatest with our daughter. But for me, she checked all the boxes, but for the things that I needed, she just wasn't it. And when I realized that, then things started to dissolve. But this friendship thing where somebody can be around all day and it's cool, I haven't had that moment yet. Like after a few hours, I'm like, yeah, it's
I ain't gonna hold you. It's uncomfortable, man. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. It is so necessary, man. And like, I'm 41. When somebody is actually like invested in your business and you realize that stuff changes you, like who I'm invested in is several hundreds of miles away. However, just presence of knowing when they're asking them hard questions and they're asking them sincerely as like a friend, they're like, take the love hat off, take how I feel about you off. Who are you? Like this don't line up. This is starting to give me cause for pause to even be, that is different. And you gotta be like, yo, wait, give me a minute. I gotta stop for a second and understand that I might be going through something too. I mean, and this is probably the quickest I've actually had to be honest. I mean, I don't write it off to the person much more than I say the time of year. I had to be honest and say, you know what, I'm going through something and I'm honestly scared. And I'm not comfortable articulating even being scared. And I don't need anything more than somebody to understand and listen for a minute so that they can ask the questions that are safe regard for me. And we were butting heads for like a week. And I was pissing her off. And I was also running into my codependent phase. Like, okay, am I scaring this person off? Am I overwhelming this person? Am I not enough? Am I too much? But at that point, I was like, you know what? Damn it. I'm going through something. Hold up. I'm hurt. You're my friend first. I'm going through this. And at that point, I saw a different person, even more different than what I knew of this individual. She's saying, okay, so what's going on? So why didn't you say this sooner? So what about me makes you feel like you can't just come to me? And now I got to be like, you know what? Hold her true to who she is. So I would really challenge you, man. Like we as the older generation, I'm not saying give all your business. Shut up, Beeman. Give all your.
Say why Yonci gotta laugh? You don't say so.
But because Beeman be holding her. But I would say give a testament of something that you never told anybody and see how they handle it. We're not asking you to tell somebody whose throat you slit. We're not saying that. But we're saying like, something that really, you know what I mean?
I don't like Yonci's face right now. I'm gonna put my thumb right here on the screen.
So I'm laughing because Willie didn't realize he wasn't on mute.
Willie snapped. You ain't hear Willie snap.
What did he say? What did he say?
He actually dropped an F-bomb and didn't realize he wasn't on mute. That was
he
funny.
went on it.
But his face was like
A whole adolescent kid. It was hilarious.
I think I'm just gonna have to go to I'm gonna have to crash Yonci or Mont's wedding and just wait on the let out and meet the kind of people that they meet. And so when you announce it, Mont, I'm just gonna be outside. I know I'm not getting an invite, but I'm gonna be outside.
I had an amazing friend who posted in the singles feature.
Can we sing at your wedding?
And
my band.
Oh, let me send me a sample.
You got audition for this wedding?
This is a wedding.
The patrons don't get to come to the wedding. You just can't come.
Link. If you're serious, we will be there.
I saw a video that went viral, and there was this dude, and he was singing a cappella for I don't know if his friend or whoever who was proposing, and it was funny because everyone was like ripping the guy to shreds. So, but I'm sure not. No, but I would like to see the style. Like I would like to
listen, Yonci, I got you. Now listen. Yonci wants to hear you sing and she wants to hear your band first. Now, if Yonci is not happy with it, right? Mm-hmm. She's not going to say that she's not happy with it. It'll be like, hey, this is a team thing, me and Monte, and he had this other guy in mind.
Don't give him that.
No, that's not how business works.
I'm just saying, you won't know regardless of if she's happy with it, whether she's happy or not. If they don't go with you, it's going to be Monte's fault. Okay.
No.
So it's not going to be Yonci.
They didn't go with the DJ. The venue wasn't big enough to accommodate a band.
There's two people involved, and you know Monte's the man.
I'm trying to tell you, life changing. I've done 1,100 weddings.
No, I genuinely.
A lot of weddings.
I am genuinely.
It's 1,100 in them. Like, right? It's a lot of weddings, man. I've been doing this stuff for 15 years.
It isn't going to be in the U.S. though. So
about 60 weddings a year for 15 years.
Okay, got you.
It's a lot of weddings.
It's just not going to be in the U.S. code for we ain't getting invited. Is that what that is? Not going to be in the U.S. Is that your way? Like Mont was saying, you don't want us.
I'm saying before he realized what he's extending himself.
That was what
I'm gonna be there.
It'll be right there in Texas. You just don't want us to come. Okay.
Yeah, y'all two weddings, you and Mont wedding, y'all two of the few weddings that I'm looking forward to. Everybody else, this is my second time I'm going to one of their weddings, so I just know this is just.
I'm excited for mine.
Like I feel like I was a part of the beginning of this whole thing, and I'm like,
y'all kind of were. I mean, you were there at the very beginning, and it's so funny because
we like.
I did not want to put my information out there, and I went back and forth with him because I'm very private like that. Like when I started on Facebook, it was a private group, so I was okay with Facebook because I'm like, it feels slightly contained, and so I would bring people on that was dating, like actually bring them on and like let people chat with them or whatever. And then I learned the hard way not to do that. And then with Instagram, I wouldn't even talk about dating. I was like, oh, I'm retired from dating. I didn't want people in my DMs or whatever. And so
I use that all the time. I'm retired.
Yeah. I hung up my jersey, but he made a really compelling argument. And I felt like at the end of the day, I would probably regret hurting his feelings by not posting him than trying to protect my privacy. And I took a huge gamble, and clearly it paid off. Because I could have blown up in my face if we didn't. Because people have no chill. That's the thing. It's like when you are happy and excited, you want to share, you want to give the details, but people don't realize if something ends, nobody wants to talk about that. And it's not always about ego. Sometimes you want to spare the other person. So I've had some crazy experiences. But all right, I'm gonna bring up another video.
Let me see. I'm going to the singles page. You said to look at it. Let me see.
Oh yeah, I had a great girl on there, and she has since got snatched up. So I'm telling you, I be trying. You know, if you had come to the event, there were some more people there.
I feel bad I missed it. I was like, dang.
I think my proposal is going to be private. I think it's going to be me and her.
I was torn because I'm like, I like the idea of a private proposal, but I wanted it recorded so I could remember it. Because I was oh my God. I'm not a shy person at all. And I can do public speaking. I've modeled in public. But for whatever reason, when he proposed, I just felt my face on fire. And I wouldn't even turn my head. I just felt everybody like watching. And I was just so like, oh my God.
Okay, we get it. Y'all in love. Dang.
Oh my
You and
god.
Mach, y'all happy.
It's so uncomfortable though, but you can't stop. You just be like,
Dating coach Erica.
Yonci, I'm gonna have about 5 camera angles though. It's gonna
No,
be
I think that's
private, but yeah.
beautiful to have it to where it's record. Because see, I have a horrible memory, so I like to be able to play it back and back and back and back. So hey, if I'm sure you have a bunch of people there, but if you ever need any assistance or what have you,
it's not gonna be nobody there
putting stuff together. No, I'm saying orchestra. You still have to like coordinate it. You still have to like put all the stuff together. So even if someone's not,
he looks like the type that'll have like pre-programmed drones.
No, we just gonna be recording some YouTube stuff, and she gonna think the cameras is out because we doing some YouTube stuff.
She gonna see this, man.
I was gonna say you're seeing too much, man.
You're not gonna see this.
Yonci.
Oh, okay.
Drones.
But we're gonna be recording a lot of
that has
YouTube stuff. She
drones.
never gonna know when I'm gonna do it.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's
See?
good. I just hope she doesn't ever see this because then she's gonna have her guard up every. That's how women are. Anytime you record, she'll be like,
do you know how to fly drones?
This is the year of YouTube for us. We about to be creating a lot of content. So
I am so here for it. I'm so here
Monty,
for it. Because
do
you
you
know
know
what
how
I
to
could
fly
picture
drones?
even, Mont? I could picture because you do the hotel reviews. And so please, dear God, don't let Deja be watching this. You could do a hotel review, and normally you do sweet stuff anyway. And so it could be like the hotel did something nice for you guys, but it really turns into the spelled out letters we made. I mean, you can do so many things since you're already filming normally. Anyway, we're gonna move on because I don't want to jinx it. Okay,
Hey, all I know is this: y'all better not do nothing too crazy because I'm not trying to follow behind none of that.
I want to plan your proposal, Willie. Oh my god!
I'm gonna have my meta glasses on too.
What?
I'm gonna have every angle.
You getting married this year too?
Probably not this year. Probably like this month. I'll probably go do it tomorrow for real.
My boy spontaneous.
Okay.
Spontaneous man.
You're not a good liar. All right, let's keep going.
No.
Conversations you don't want to have when your significant other is right beside you. All right, let's get into this video. Love you, friend. All right.
Hey friends, dating coach Erica here. I just want to recap what went right and what went wrong with last night's post. Just to recap, as you can see here, a date was planned. A date was planned for Friday, last night. It was finalized on Tuesday, shall we say. This location at 8 p.m. Sounds good. Stay safe. Tubular. See you there. Okay. Between Tuesday and Friday, no communicating, which I actually recommend because things only go downhill when you do a bunch of how's your days after. So I generally recommend reconfirming the day before with a confident confirmation of looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Here's my number in case you need to reach me, which is exactly what she did. She did it the day of, though. All she wanted in response was an acknowledgement of her reconfirmation, which is a reasonable want. In the absence of getting an acknowledgement of her reconfirmation, she wasn't sure that he would show up on the date. He is gray. So, if it were me, I would have gone on the date with some hesitation because it wouldn't have been hard for him to say, sounds good, see you there, or thanks for your number. So instead of going on the date, she decided to cancel the date because she wasn't confident that he would be there. And so at 6:30 p.m., an hour and a half before the date, she texted him and said, I'm going to cancel our date because I haven't heard from you. And then she unmatched him. That's where there was a mistake. Because she unmatched him, he may very well have not read her message and shown up on the date himself. So we'll never know what actually happened.
So much to unpack here. So there's a couple of things that she mentioned. The first thing she said was that once you set up the date, basically abort, don't talk until the day before the date. And then the second thing that could be controversial is to confirm or not to confirm. And there was a whole post with this other guy. I wish I had remembered. I invited him to come on the show, but he said he asked a woman out, but she ended up quote unquote standing him up because he didn't confirm. So she did the same thing. She assumed it wasn't on. So he was like, you have to confirm. So let's unpack those two things. One, is it good to talk up until? She said it could only go downhill if you talk every day. And then two, that you need to confirm before the date. Who wants to tackle this juicy topic first? Because I got a lot of thoughts.
I'd love to tackle it. I think
I
think that it's customary for any man to confirm, right? I think that you should confirm, right? I think that should be something that you just do. But at the same time, I think that technically, if I gave you a time and a date and where we're going to be, you gave me that's a commitment. You said yes, I can be there, and if I don't confirm, I think it's your job to confirm at that point because you gave that man your commitment. You gave him your word. He said, "Will you be here this time and this day?" And you said yes. And then probably the next day coming, you like, "Oh, I'm a girl. Like I'm not going to hit you up. Like my time is valuable. You need to know how valuable my time is." And you don't go. Cool. It is what it is. But also you committed to something and you weren't there. So I think it's fault on both ends. I think the man should always confirm because I just think that's gentlemanly. But she didn't show up for a commitment. So.
And Sunrise says she thinks she should have given him grace because he said pending wildfires. So they're in the middle of this wildfire situation. As far as the talking, she said it can only go downhill if you're saying, "How was your day?" For me, when I go on a date, similar to how oh my gosh, Naisi was saying, by the time we go on a date, we've talked to talk. For me, I'm not going on a date with a person I barely know his name, and that's it. I have talked to you. We have cupcaked. We have kind of built up this connection. I've video chatted to make sure you're not a catfish, but I'm not going on a date dry like that. So if I'm talking to a dude and he's not talking to me up until the date, I take it as not being interested. And I get that some people say I do better in person, but to me, that's weird. I feel like I must not have made an impression enough on you that you could talk to me on Tuesday and then not talk to me again until Friday.
Question, Yonci. So let's say you meet a guy and y'all have a quick conversation. Your conversation lasts. And he kind of gets straight to the point, like, "Hey, I would love to get to know you and just kind of go out one day." And like that second, he's like, "How about Friday?"
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are like, "Cool, yeah, Friday, that's great," And he next time y'all talk, he tell you the place or whatever, but y'all don't have a huge conversation within those 4 days until it's time to confirm. That's something that you open to do, but
I would
you're just as interested in him.
What's that?
You're just as interested in him as he is in you at this point too.
Yeah, I would say it would make me feel like he wasn't as interested. It wouldn't change how I felt about him as far as attraction level, but I would feel that's my thing. Like I'm like I would hope that I would make a big enough impression, and this is how my woman's brain is wired, that he would be so curious to know what I'm doing the next day. Like, how was your day? Did you survive? So for him to not care at all to know how I am doing, to me, that would say he's probably just looking to smash. That I would put him in that category.
Okay. I'm trying to think, like, me and Deja, like, because I had sent her a DM, at first, and I'm just trying to think, like, if I talked to her much during that, before that we went on a date, but I was like right at it. I asked her to go on a date pretty quickly. So I'm trying to think if we really talked before then and how much. I don't think it was a lot, if any. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of that.
I'm gonna ask that as
it's tax season. I gotta wake up early. I appreciate this show. I appreciate y'all platform. We got taxes to file. Like, listen, y'all.
Is that what responsible people do? File in January?
Huh?
I said, is that what responsible people do? Is file in January, not wait till April?
Listen. When you have brokerages and when you have investments, that's what they do. And when they talk about required minimum distributions and stuff that I've never really heard about, now I'm introduced to in this realm of my life. Yeah, that's what they do. They file early and they make sure that they're not bothered. So you got to wake up. We got consultations and we got meetings and we got stuff to do. So blessed to y'all. I'm going to try to eat something and go to bed.
I will send your paycheck.
Yes. Wait, what?
If it gets lost in the mail, it's not on me.
We getting paid?
Blame my staff.
Yeah,
you guys
to do that. Look,
you guys get proverbial checks. So, if it gets lost in the mail, just know I sent you a $10,000 check. So if it gets lost in the mail, that's not on me.
I'm receiving it.
I don't know if Jacob ever received his checks or Mont did.
Nah, if I get one, don't y'all be jealous. But y'all have a blessed night. We appreciate you, Yonci.
Oh, thank you.
Bless y'all for this platform. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you for you and the cat for the appearance.
Yeah, let's get so let me switch gears here just for a second.
How dare you?
I'm gonna share my recent weird experience.
Ooh, did it involve a pastor?
No, not a pastor this time. So you guys know I work in community affairs. That's my day job. And so I travel around the state, going to different activities, whatever.
That sounds like code for Cam's job. Community
Councilman.
You can go to my LinkedIn and you'll see where I've been. But
travel around the state.
But anyway, so I go to these, and I meet with different community folks, faith leaders, et cetera, influential folks. And there was this event for MLK Day. I drove 3 hours to get there. It was in the morning, did the breakfast, had a good time, came back. About 8 or 9 o'clock, I get a call for one of our partners saying, did I make it home safely? And I'm like, yeah, like, since when do people call you that you work with, talking, did you make it home? Like, well, I'm going to be down your way Friday.
I'm going to go on a limb and say this is a female colleague.
Yeah, that'd be a different conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole different.
Hey, I'm gonna be in your city. Are you gonna be there? And I'm like, well, yeah. She's like, I'm gonna be in your city, and I'm like, well, that's great. You gonna have a good time.
I always do that. Enjoy. You gotta stop by this barbecue. It's good.
You go over there. You gonna have a good time.
Enjoy the weather.
Well, where you gonna be? Well, I got this to do.
Not reading the room.
I'm with you. Like, well, nah, I got this work thing, and.
How you not read the room?
And then I get another text the next day, like, something's going here. You want to come with me to this? And I just like, it just was weird. Like, so.
How's secondhand embarrassment, Jacob?
I'm like, it just felt weird to me because like this is work.
It's forward.
But that's my weird thing this week.
You didn't give any like, ooh, looking good in that pencil skirt, or those heels are just.
Hell no, this is work. I gotta see these people in the world. Like,
right, no. That's so forward. I wonder if she had a cocktail.
Nah, this was a faith breakfast. So nah, it's cheesecake o'clock. I gotta run. Okay.
Not you reading it out loud. You and Mont. Wow. Look, thank you so much for your time, good sir.
Yeah, I'm going to bed. All right, yeah. Oh, he went to bed. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead. I think I'm going to call it a day. I just wanted to share my weird experience.
Aww.
Some days I just don't even want to go outside. So I want to come to Mont's wedding. I want to come to your wedding. I'll stay in I'll just wait till the let out. Like, I don't even have to come in. I'll buy you a gift.
It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna have a good time.
It's a good time.
That's one thing. That's one thing we both have in common. We love hosting, so it is going to be a good time.
I don't know, Kaylee, why I get the weird ones. Kaylee said, I don't know why I get the weird ones. I don't know. I think it's got to be me. I mean, take some personal accountability.
Yeah, she felt comfortable shooting her shot for some reason. I don't know.
Usually I miss them when they shoot, but that was pretty obvious.
Who shot this shot at Jacob?
The coworker.
Ain't no coworker. Nah, this ain't no. This is just somebody like.
I thought you said partner.
No, they run a non-profit. Well, we call people we work with in the community our partners. So this
was. So someone he's affiliated through his work side shot her shot.
His community affairs.
I don't like the way you said that.
That's what I said. He's just like him.
That's what the job title is, community affairs.
Mm-hmm. Your community something.
Jacob and his community affairs. I get it.
Yeah,
community Jacob. Mont, can you handle another video?
For sure.
Okay.
You don't like this last video. Show another one.
Yeah. Okay. So this is this one. Let me take old girl down. All right. Let's do. See if I can remember which one I want. Oh.
Or when the man likes the woman more. I feel like things work better when the man likes the woman more. I think that women were created to be, of course, helpers, of course, co-rulers, but I also think that they were created to be reciprocators, not initiators. As a man, I feel like everybody has a small desire to have a woman who initiates things and does things first and does all of the things that a man is supposed to do. But in reality, that's not what women were created for. They were created to be helpers. They were created to help us and guide us through the things that we've already initiated. That's the way we were created. That's in the Bible. I've never seen a woman take a man on a first date and be the one to pick him up, pay for it, do all of the things that a man is supposed to be doing. Yet I've seen a woman take a man out on a date and he have an amazing time and she planned and she do everything from top to bottom. That's proof that if you show a woman something and you continuously put something in front of her and you be like, this is the model, this is the way that I'm going to treat you, it's nothing for her to see the model and then treat you the same way. That's reciprocating.
I don't agree. I think the woman got to like a man more. And the reason that I feel that way is because as a man, you principled, right? I'm not with my girl because I love her. I'm with her because I'm loyal and I've chosen her. So that'll be, of course I love her. I love everything about her, but that's not the reason that I'm with her, and that can't be the reason that I stay with her. Because at a certain point, what does love feel like? I don't know what'll happen. I don't know what'll happen in the future, but I know that I've given her a commitment. So I can't base that relationship on. I can't base my actions on love. I base it more on loyalty. But I think that like women need that fairy tale. And I think that fairy tale and those feelings and those butterflies, I just think that if you have a man that's principled, you have nothing to worry about. You don't have to worry about him breaking your heart. You don't have to worry about none of that. And I think that's kind of like that part where like women can let their guard down and just be a girl around you and just be a woman. And, she can kind of walk around like, like not really have to worry about danger. I think it's kind of part of that. Of like, you can love me without boundaries. Go ahead and love me. I'm not going to break your heart. Love as deep as you want to. You good, right? And I think that women operate better in that from that place versus a man. As a man, like you got to be a leader. You got to be. Your woman has to admire you. In order to follow you, and in order to, and to really like kind of like, I don't know. I think that feeling helps women in her position way more than it helps a man do what he has to do. If that makes sense.
Well, my take is I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
My take is that I think initially that dynamic should be that the man likes her more only because he's pursuing her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just like he said, women reciprocate. I think that we get so emotional that our feelings will easily match his and probably surpass him.
Yeah.
So I think if he is somewhat smitten with her, it's going to make him and motivate him to do the work to get them where they need to be. And then she's going to fall. I think that's why so many guys who are just bums, like the women are falling head over heels, because a lot of it's like the idea of love. They're just so in love with love.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it takes much. If a guy is a good dude and he's doing the right things, I think that she will easily get there. I cannot. TMI, Willie.
I don't know what he's talking about, but I just had some good cheesecake. And it's real. I don't know what he's talking about, but I just had good cheesecake. It's in the fridge.
Ooh, actual cheesecake. What's your favorite topping on there?
I'm gonna say cherry.
What'd you say?
Cherry.
This is so crazy. We both like olives. We both like cherry. I love cherry. It's either plain or cherry. I love interesting. You're all right with me. I was struggling without you earlier today, sir.
I was a little busy.
I was like, I need the voice of reason. Of course, reason is whatever's lined up with me closely.
Oh man.
All right. So let me take this out. What do you guys say in the comments? Do you think it works better if the guy likes her more?
I agree with what you said. I think, of course, the guy should like the woman first. The girl don't even gotta like you at first. She don't know what you're about. She don't know who you are. She don't have to. Until you show her what you're about and who you are, and I believe in that. But I think once you kind of get into a relationship, like I don't know, I just feel like I've never had it's always the woman who wants the ring, right? Who wants more, and you give her more because that's what she wants. Like I've never been with a woman and she didn't want to marry me. That's always kind of been, the position is like, I know and as a man, you kind of know which women want to marry you versus the ones who probably wouldn't, which I don't know. I never had none that wouldn't, but it kind of do trip me up, like when women be telling men no when they propose. Like, why would you ever propose to a girl that could tell you no? I don't know.
Super chat. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like you should more than know, because like you said, most women are like
Yeah.
knocking the door down. I'm not even gonna read this out loud. Y'all can read this out loud. Willie,
Oh, no. It's
thank
stuff
you
like
for
that
the
matters most. Oh man.
super chat. Out of control. All right, I'm gonna.
I think food sex is immature, Willie. Just have regular. Just do sex normal. Normal sex is what adults do. Okay.
You know what's funny? Like so many things that are on these movies or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like the reality if you actually try certain things. You know, it's like
Yeah.
now certain things are dirty and I clean it. You don't want bugs. Like it was like
why is he putting that girl through that, man? She got to take a shower now. She feels sticky off of his little cheesecake fetish.
oh my god. Oh my god. All right. I don't even remember which one this is.
Men love to talk about how women
Oh, I don't like this one. This one's one of those ones that kind of feels like it's like pandering. Okay, I'm actually gonna remove this one. This one kind of feels pandering too. Yeah, all these ones. I don't want to be in this one. Okay, let's see. Oh, you know what? This one was interesting. I think you're gonna have something really interesting to say about this.
Okay.
So let me, because this is kind of in line with something that you were talking about last week, I want to say. And then this popped up like right after. So I was like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Are not allowed to have full access to their feelings. Can I give y'all a great example of that? We in the house, me and my wife, she's pregnant, and my, at the time, 4-year-old daughter sleeping in her room. It's 3 a.m. And we hear, whoop, 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 whoop. The alarm goes off in my house. So I pop up. Triple handy on me, you know. I got 30 in the mag. Boom, hit that charger hand. Gang, I'm ready. I go downstairs and checking all the rooms, my heart beating like crazy. I check the living room, we good. I check the kitchen, we good. I walk into the basement, man, my finger trembling a little bit, but I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Go to the basement, I peek around the last corner. The wind opened the door to the garage, messed up the sensor. Closed the joint, locked it. Whew. Sat down for a little bit, let my nerves chill, and I said, wait a minute, I just realized something. Fear is a human emotion. 2 of us were scared that night. Only 1 of us had permission to feel that. I couldn't be afraid to the point of inaction. Because if all of us were murdered in that house, first thing people would have said is why he didn't protect his family. Why he allowed those things to happen to him. What happens to a human being who's not allowed to feel the full scope of their emotions? How does that work? How do you function?
What are your thoughts?
I'm trying to understand what he was saying. Like,
Okay, I know. I was like, it's
what's
long.
the point? Like, what's the point of?
Yeah.
So I understand that men, we all feel emotion. We all feel fear. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you Mike Tyson. I don't care if you
Super chat.
the best fighter in the world. I mean, oh yeah, I seen that. I don't care if you're the most dangerous man in the world. We all feel fear. So I'm not sure what his point was. Men are allowed to have emotions, but at the same time, the better men should expose themselves to things so that they can handle and control things better when they actually are presented. So, for example, even when it comes to emotional intelligence, no, I'm gonna give you a better example. When it comes to like if you ever gotten into a fight, next time you get into a fight, when you get into a fight for the 5th time, it's not as bad as the first time. It's like, okay, I'm not phased. You know, if you've had a gun pointed in your face, I'm pretty sure if you've been to war and you've had 1,000 guns pointed in your face, you feel different than somebody who had it happen for the first time. I don't know. It's like I get it, but it's like it doesn't matter. Like, do what you gotta do. What you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. Something happened. Your body won't allow you to feel fear anyway because we got adrenaline. Your body knows what to do.
Right.
Like you can feel that later. Like get over it. I don't know, but I understand it. You feel fear. It's just irrelevant.
I think, yeah, it's kind of like there's certain things that we need men to be wired to do. And at the end of the day, it just kind of sucks. But then it's like my brain goes, what's the alternative though? Yeah. You know, like if a person was just like, I hate having to work every day, like, okay, but we still gotta eat.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're not allowed to do it. You're a father, and I think mothers have certain things that they're not allowed to do. Women have certain things that they're not allowed to do, and as men, we got certain. Like you can. I don't know who told us we can't feel. Like I think you should express yourself.
Right.
But I think kind of men conflate expressing themselves with being an emotional human being, like kind of like
Mhm.
an emotional outbursts. You don't got to do that. You don't got to
Right.
scream and yell. You can just say, you said that I didn't like it. It hurt me.
Right.
Simple.
Right.
know?
I hate that there's always pain at that extreme. Like it's either you're flailing about on the ground like a child having a temper tantrum, or you're stoic and you don't have any feelings at all.
Yeah. And I think the world is like men are kind of like adopting this women's mentality and being soft and stuff like that. I don't know. I got an unpopular opinion about it.
No, I definitely see that. I think women are trying to become men, and a lot of men are trying to become women. But our differences is what make us awesome.
I seen a video where a girl said, "Oh, you deserve to feel safe. You deserve to feel financially
That's
safe."
the one that made me think about that.
Yeah, no. Oh yeah, I showed you that video.
That's what prompted my thought, and then the algorithm that we showing that. Aw, well, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Made it to the end. Last man standing. Y'all show him some love in the comments. Sunrise says good night. Good night, y'all. All right, I will see you next week. Thank you, Mon.
Y'all have a good night.
You too.
We've crossed the mile, faced the test, every challenge we beat.